2 has been a dream of mine for a very long time. I'm excited to join the class full-time in 2017.
Hopefully we can get the Pro 4 out and mix it up with the Greaves and whoever else wants to come do some battles.
We're going to be getting more track in the water truck, going for championship.
At the end of the day, you want to be the guy that when everybody shows up to the racetrack, I want everybody to say, this weekend I know I have to beat Kyle Hart. And to be able to get that name, you have to go and prove yourself and win races and be the fastest guy. I'm not going to quit until I'm there.
The overall future for off-road, it looks really good. We finally have a stepping stone of young guys coming up. It's going to be one hell of a season.
Welcome, Buchanan, Michigan. This is round 9 of the 2017 TORC, the Off-Road Championship Series, presented by AMSOIL. We are getting ready now for a full slate of Sportsman and Pro action. My name is Scott Rain, joined alongside with Brent Smith, bringing you all the race action all day long, all weekend long. And Brent, I mean, you showed up here yesterday. What was it like for seeing this place for the first time?
It was amazing. It was cool to see all the different elevation changes from when I was here. I was here 5-6 years ago when we raced, and me and my brother raced here, and we were actually on the opposite side of the hill and the facility. And to be here and see the step-ups, the elevation changes, everything about this track is over the top.
Yeah, we're watching the fans still rolling in, and what a great crowd we have this early in the morning. In fact, let's go down trackside to the podium for our third member of our broadcast team, Tiffany Stone.
Thanks, guys. I am so excited to be here. I just actually went through all the pits, talked to a lot of the drivers, including Johnny Greaves, Keegan Kincaid, a lot of the bikeman crew, and they said that this is going to be anybody's game. It's either going to be a tire game or it's going to be a driver game. But I had talked to Cam Reimers. He told me that with his moto experience, this is going to be an amazing track for him. I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks, Red Bud, for having us, and back up to you guys.
Thanks, Locke, Tiffany. In fact, she's going to be bringing a lot of the race action, giving us updates during the races going on, and also talking to winners at the podium after each and every single race. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now's that time. Before we can start any racing, and we got to recognize some very important people. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise at this time for the presentation of our colors presented for you this morning of the American Legion from right here in Buchanan, Michigan.
Okay, guys, are you walking in or standing there? You can walk on in. Thanks. Okay, and then when I give you the cue, we'll just put you right up in here. This mic's still hot.
In the world. Singing our national anthem this morning will be Ann Schrader.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to have you guys out here this weekend to witness some of the most awesome forms of motorsports you're going to see anywhere. There's a lot going on, in fact, this part of the state, but we are so happy to have you here to witness one of the greatest spectacles in motorsports. It's been said for so many years, that this is the best kept secret in motorsports, and we are trying so hard to bring it to the masses.
Yeah, it's just crazy. This whole TORC venue and every track we've been to this year, to bring it back to Redbud. Like I said earlier, we haven't been back here in a while, and it's going to be some kind of showdown. We watched practice earlier this morning, and I'm excited. We're going to see a lot of close fender-to-fender racing, and you're probably going to see a couple cars go upside down.
Yeah, a little explanation of what we're going to see here this afternoon. We're going to start with our light buggy division, one of our largest classes. We're going to start with a Sportsman, and a very limited horsepower, a stock VW motor, air-cooled, stock suspension components in a buggy form, open wheel racing, very economical to get involved, to get started in this sport. And like I say, it's the largest class. And as the day goes on, we'll get a little bit faster. A little bit more money is shoved into these classes, and you start getting faster and faster and faster, and ending up this afternoon with the pro classes, with Pro Mod, Pro Stock, UTVs, as well as the Pro Light, Pro 2, and Pro 4. We'll also want to let everybody know that we have some fantastic companies involved in this weekend's racing. In fact, the U.S. Air Force is here this weekend, and I've never seen this before on display. I didn't even know you could do that, but we have an actual F-16 Thunderbird jet on display back in the pit area. You bought your ticket to get in. You can go anywhere in this facility on this hill. Obviously, you can't go on the track, but on this hill, and then turn around behind you, go back in the pit area, meet the drivers, get pictures, get autographs of not only the pros, but also the sportsmen. As our cars are coming out right now for the reconnaissance lap, as they came out earlier this morning for practice, but now coming up here for the last look at this track, because we're going to go green in probably, I'd say, half a lap or so. But again, the pits are wide open all day long to the fans. A lot of companies are here on display to check out their wares. We've also got the World Motorsports Breast Cancer Foundation here. Stop to see up their display, kind of help out the cause. As we've got 28 light buggies, you can see the limited horsepower. They're not the fastest car on the track, obviously, but when you have 28 plus cars on the track, especially at a brand new facility where really no one's got a notebook to rely on, this is going to make for some really great racing.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy day today. I mean, just walking back and forth throughout this facility, seeing the different dirt. I mean, it's a natural terrain track, but at the same time, you're going to have loamy dirt coming in a lot of these sweepers, and you come up to a turn and it's tight. So like you said, with all these 28 cars in this field, you're going to have some bumping and banging.
Yeah, so we got a full slate of buggies and trucks, as well as a young kids class come out here in the Midwest short course karts. Here's our lineup real quick of the light buggy division. Starting in the front row, we got Tracy Fleischman and Corey Holcher here running this afternoon. And row 2, Eric Lafreniere, Derek Tilkins in row 2, Dylan Marquardt in the 122, Tyler Wiens in the 195. Row 4, Todd Lemke and Colin Schultz. In row 5, Billy Booth, Jake Nelson, Greg Stengel, our current points leader, Bo Ambos. Our points leader in the 188, green flag is out, we're underway. Connor Schultz, Sean Springstro in row 7, row 8, Kyle Padnott, Scott Booth from Canada, starting 17th. It's Tom Benevenuti and Hunter Tingley. They're in row 9, row 10, Brandon Groff, Ryan Joss, row 10, Kai Groff. Chad Moigenberg in row 11. Now they've been given the green flag, but the race really doesn't officially start until they cross the Amsoil start-finish line. Our early leader, Corey Holcher, working the way around turn number 1.
You can see, like we were talking earlier in the beginning of the show, like how that the first couple turns right in the infield, they're just so deep, and especially with this little bit of horsepower that these cars have, you have to make every lap count and try to avoid all the roots.
Yeah, so there's certain parts of this track that they absolutely love, but there's one spot in this track that every single one of these drivers in this class does not like, and that's that uphill double and it just jars the car, bounces them around. But man, talking to Ambos last night at the fireside party, he loves this place. You've got that hard-packed dirt in certain spots and that very loose, almost beach sand in other parts. So it's a very much, if you've got maybe a 3, 4, 5 horsepower advantage that you found a secret to kind of get your car a little quicker than the others, this is going to equalize that out.
Oh, for sure. It's any little bit you can take off of your car and try to make it a little bit faster each time out. And especially here at a new facility, nobody knows what this track's going to do. They have a little bit of practice, but at the same time, you have to just go out and run. Everybody gets the same track.
It looks like we got a yellow flag out just for a yellow zone. So from the first yellow flag to the site of the incident, there is a speed limit. We got brand new leaders, so 121 of Derek Tilkins. He started back in that 4th spot. So a new leader with Derek Tilkins running up front.
A lot of guys running that bottom line, heading back towards the step up. And like you said earlier, Scott, look, watch them as they come up to these jumps. They can't really make that double, but they just stuff it right into the face of the next one.
Man, a lot of contact. Boy, there's just, even at these speeds, they're just having problems traversing that corner. Holzer was back in that 3rd spot, now moved up into 2nd. Pete Delory, wow, I'm not sure if he's with the leaders because he started back in that 25th spot. Right now he's, I believe, 3rd on the track. Yeah, he might be a lap down as he's going backwards through the traffic right now.
Everyone taking that bottom line around that big course marker tire. Every one of these turns, you've seen that past couple of races at Crandon Park River. You've seen the wider turns. Here it's more of a motocross style setup, and what better way here at Redbud to have a motocross style track, and it's just beautiful. And you're going to see the different colors in the dirt throughout the day, and they're going to try to keep that moisture in. Holder still running in that 2nd spot in the number 100 car. Good look at Billy Booth there running in the 4th spot, climbing back up towards the top of the racetrack. It's like Lemke got in the side of Billy Booth in the 151, trying to move him out. And I said earlier this weekend, when we first got here, it's going to take, if you want to take over that spot, you're going to have to put a charge in and push that next guy out to get the spot. Holger with Wines all over the back of him. Wines trying to go outside, inside, trying to find a good line around that bottom. Wyans jumping that step up a little bit harder than Holger and trying to use that to his advantage. Wyans trying that outside line, trying to make another spot as you see the competition caution coming out this time by. The competition caution in TORC Racing, we go halfway through the race and then we throw out the red and the yellow, which will bunch everyone back up and give another shot at your second, third, fourth place guy, and that guy in the lead, he sets the pace on the restart.
Yeah, this competition yellow was instituted about 10 years ago, kind of like an experimental kind of thing. And a lot of the drivers, a lot of the fans were they weren't in favor of it. And they tried it out. It prevents a runaway. And that happens once in a while, but it was all instituted to kind of prevent, or try to provide a better action on the track. But also, from a racer standpoint, it added a strategy. Set these cars up for the first half and try to work your way through traffic real quick for track position, or you can make that choice and try to set these cars up for the second half.
Yeah, and a lot of guys do that, and throughout the sport, throughout my many of years, and when that came into play, it was, okay, me and my brother Brock, we would be when we were in Super Stock Truck, we'd be like, okay, we're going to run as hard as we can. If we're starting in the back, we're going to run as hard as we can and try to get into that top 4, and then we knew we were within striking distance of winning the race. And 8, 9 times out of 10, we would mark that spot and we'd make it happen unless we got into carnage. And that's what you have to do as a racer. You have to put the whole package together. Not saying that you're going to plan out your race before you race, but you have to have a strategy, like Scott was saying, to make everything line up to win this race, especially in super buggy or light buggy, when you have 28 cars in the field.
So we're trying to see, there's a nice shot of the crowd. You know, it was such a cool sight to see some of the fans walking up the hill from the parking lot, carrying their lawn chairs, dragging their coolers. That is a neat thing to see. It's like, that only tells me that, you know what, there's some fans here that want to check this out possibly for the first time. And again, this is a great time to reiterate the fact that the pits are open to all the fans. Go feel free. There's a entrance gate directly behind you at the top of the hill. Right across the gravel road, I guess you say, from the Race and Dirty trailer, which has got all the very cool racing apparel for the 2017 TORC series, as well as specifically designed T-shirts just for this weekend. Tim and Timmery really do a great job out of Las Vegas to provide us this service, and really, I kind of call him the mad scientist of artistry when it comes to T-shirts and hats and ladies'
Anything,
tees,
sunglasses,
tank tops,
you name it.
Kids size apparel as well, and he's got blowout specials from all these prior races that we've had leftovers from T-shirts and sweatshirts and such. So, but again, back in the pit area, please, sometime throughout the day, and once racing is over, I got to reiterate also, once the racing is over today, don't go home, because there's a lot of action going on in the pits all night long. In fact, feel free to wander around, meet some of the Sportsman drivers, get some pictures and autographs as well as the pros, and stop by and see the guys here from the U.S. Air Force. This is my first time I've ever been. I've been to a lot of air shows. I've met the Blue Angels. I've met the Thunderbirds, the pilots, but I didn't know that you could pack one of those things into a semi and unload it and put it together in less than a half a day. And that's exactly what those guys up there from the Air Force did. But there is a full-blown F-16 Thunderbird on display back there in the pit area. Very, very cool setup. So, again, everyone, please stick around. Once the racing is done today and throughout the afternoon, feel free to go back into the pits and kind of meet some of these guys. Maybe become a fan of somebody. You know, that was a really cool guy. I like the way he took pictures with us. All of a sudden, you become a fan, and now you have somebody to follow.
Yeah, and that's the big thing in TORC here. All the drivers are so friendly. I mean, even growing up as a kid throughout this sport, I always said it's a family sport. You can walk in and out of anybody's pits and get their autographs, and at the end of the day, go and grab a piece of their fender. Go grab the hood. I mean, there's going to be a lot of carnage.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't. Oftentimes, they don't keep these fiberglass fenders or rear quarter panels, or sometimes hoods that just get ripped off, which is a part of racing. These trucks were made to be tore apart in the middle of a race and to keep on going. Oftentimes, those fenders and all these parts make their way up into their pits, and sometimes they fix them. More times than not, they don't. Well, guess what? They'll kind of wipe off some mud off of one spot, and they'll sign it for you, and you got something go home to hang up either in your bedroom for the kids or out in the garage for yourself. But there's a great shot right there, right in the top of the screen. You see the RD, that's the Race and Dirty trailer. Also want to remind everybody that they do also have decals of the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit and Auction. If you remember the movie American Sniper, they are selling those decals for $5 a piece. 100% of the proceeds go to next year's 2018 Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit. Now, just to the right of the Race and Dirty trailer, you're going to see the gang here, Todd and his boys from Vision Wheels. So if you're in the market for a wheel for your car, truck, or SUV, stop up there and see Todd from Vision Wheels. And what's kind of neat is you can also see the entrance to the left side of the screen. If you're looking at the Jumbotron, that's the entrance going back into the pit area. And kind of just check out what's going on as these guys prep their cars and trucks for racing later on this afternoon. And nice shot of crowd here. It's kind of nice to see we still have a full field of cars out here, made their way through the first half. There's a lot of contact in a few of these turns. These guys, they were out here for practice and qualifying, but they send them out onto the track from the starting line like every 5 seconds. So there hasn't been any side-by-side racing on this track. This is their first experience, our first chance to experience that. So there's been a lot of contact so far in this first half. And it looks like you got Tyler Wiens on camera right now. Not sure if he might have the problem or not, but he's still inside his car. Looks like it's still running. But he's been a multi-time podium finisher here this season. Now, once again, to reiterate what these cars, this class, is all about, we've got stock VW motors. They're actually running a restrictor plate on top of that, so they're stock VW suspension components. What else is this class all about?
Well, it's just the suspension is huge. I mean, you see they look like a normal stock shock in the front. They have, some of them are laid down, some of them are standing up. And then in the rear of the cars, you have a 2.5 shock on each side on the wheel. And they're not the nicest landing cars, but they work pretty well. And you have to take care of your equipment. I mean, you get in contact, shear something off. It's really not something to mess with. You have to take care of your equipment, and it's just, they're basically a stock components.
Well, it sounds like Tiffany Stone may have an update of what's going on the track right now. Tiffany, what do you have?
You guys are absolutely correct. When you're looking at 195 at Tyler Wiens, his windshield is out. Just got that from race control, so they're fixing the windshield right now. That is why we have a little bit of delay, but we're going to get back on racing. Everything's okay. Back up to you guys.
So it looks like they're trying to help them out the best they can right now as far as the track officials. But they possibly, boy, it's hard to tell what's going on at the moment. You know, it's really neat to see. There's, you know, one of the things that's really we forgot about is the fact that there's helicopter rides, which this place is legendary for. They were out here, I want to say it was actually 4 years to the date. This weekend is when the last time we raced here, and like you had mentioned, we were actually over and utilized part of the motocross track back in the woods and back around the trees. But a lot of things are going on. There's the situation, what's happening, yeah. Can't quite see the number. We got a driver going out on the backboard, so you know, everybody you see out there in that orange it looks like we're getting back underway, and what you just saw a moment ago was actually taking place off the track. But everybody in orange is our own safety crew, and they're not hired professionals. They follow us all around the circuit, and they know all these drivers. They're friends with some of these drivers, and what's kind of neat is, yes, we have the emergency vehicles here, but these guys, our guys, take care of the drivers first, and that's the way they want to do it. And that's kind of like the running order, pecking order of what takes place at all the races that we go to, is our guys, our safety crew, takes care of the drivers, extricates them out of the vehicles, gets them off the track and to a different area on this facility, and then transfers them over to the emergency vehicles. But that's really neat to see when one of the best safety teams in any form of motorsports are our guys.
Yeah, they are. They have always been around, and they've been a part of a lot of different racing and events, and they care about each one of these drivers, and which we like to see. I mean, they take their time
they
very
take it
well.
personally,
yeah,
yeah.
personally, yeah, they do, and it's great to see. And like we've seen, we're getting the cars rolling back, and we're gonna get underway here shortly.
You know, we'll look for some of the fans that are here for the first time. It's awesome to see the crowd is still kind of coming in, but as we go along this afternoon, as every class comes on the track, we'll give a better description of what all these different vehicles are about. And like we said earlier in the show, that looks like the 134 of Booth has got a right rear flat tire, and going to try and limp around possibly to the hot pits. But a tough break for one of our front runners, as we just watched him go past the race control with the right rear flat tire. But it's hard to say that looks like they're getting lined up for the restart. As the cars come out, we'll get a description and so you have a better idea of what these classes are all about. Our next class is actually going to be Sportsman UTV, which is basically side-by-sides, throw a roll cage on it, you know, some of the safety features, and go racing. So that's probably our most economical UTV class, without a doubt, to get involved in short course off-road racing. And the drivers come from all over the country. Sportsmen mostly from the upper Midwest. We got drivers here in the Sportsman classes from Wisconsin, Northern Michigan, Lower Michigan. In fact, one of our pro drivers in Pro 4, Ross Hook, is from right up the road in Holland, Michigan. And he's been really putting people up at notice this year with pulling hole shots. I think he had 3 in a row hole shots in Pro 4, and that says a lot in that class.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how far he's come, and what you have to do is put your A game together with the Greaves boys, and now look at Keegan Kincaid. Keegan's been coming like a bad man coming through the field, and I think this weekend's going to be his weekend. And with this tight track, it's going to be crazy to watch those high horsepower trucks. We're talking anywhere from 850 to 950 horse in the Pro 4s. And the Pro 2s, we're running about 750, and it's cool to watch all those classes develop. In the Pro 2, we have so many trucks now, and then you run in the Pro Light class. The Pro Light class is a V8 power plant, and you have a lot of trucks that are similar. I mean, they're running all the same crate motors, some Dodge, some Fords, and they're trying to keep it tight. And I mean, the Kleiman boys are showing their thing this summer, and you have Andrew Carlson. I mean, Cam Reimers is starting to come on really well in the second half, and this is his type of track, I believe, Cam Reimers. I mean, he coming from the four-wheeler world and the motocross world, and
Yeah,
I think it'll put it together.
He's from Iowa, and he says this is coming to Redbud's like coming back home again. And he was so excited to get here. In fact, I think he actually did a YouTube video yesterday doing a track explanation, doing a ride around for the TV show and the live stream. So that's kind of cool. He was really excited, him and his family, and that is really a family operation as well coming out of Iowa. But you'll see him in Pro Light. Some of the names that were being mentioned are in all three of the Pro classes, Pro Light, Pro 2, and Pro 4. As you see right now, we're getting realigned with our light buggy division. And a few of these cars are actually for sale, so when you walk around the pits and kind of keep your eyes open, if this kind of intrigued you a little bit, feel free.
Bring it home.
Yeah, feel free. Walk up and introduce yourself. Hey, talk to me about this. What's this all about, kind of thing. And I can't tell you how many guys that are in off-road racing right now started just like you, sitting up in the hill watching this form of motorsports. They kind of got a little gumption going, and they walked back in the pit area, started walking around, were intrigued by one of the cars, walked up to a team, introduced themselves. Well, I can help you do this, or are you okay with me scraping the mud, or just kind of hang out? Heck yeah. Next thing you know, they may like you, and you're a volunteer worker. You show up at the next race, and next thing you know, after 2-3 races, you're one of the team members, and a year or so later, you might be a car owner, So, yeah.
That's how it goes.
It's kind of crazy how it starts.
It's all about being around it.
I want to say that's our Canadian driver, the old man right there in our screen, middle. The yellow with looks like dots. Those are actually Canadian maple leafs. That's Tom Benevenuti, and he's excited to be here. He's real happy to be here, but also they had a personal tragedy, so to speak. One of their he's from Northern Ontario, and him and his wife, their dog was mauled by a wolf.
Wow.
And survived, but mom didn't want to come to the race. She just wanted to stay home and take care of the rehabbing the puppy, and so Tom's here by himself. And boy, that guy is such a goofball, and I'm telling you, he is a prototype Canadian. Everything he says ends, every sentence ends with eh? Eh? Oh, absolutely. So this has actually been, we have to apologize a little bit. This has been, you see that one of our course workers is giving a final thumbs up from our drivers as we get ready to go back to green for the second half. This has been an extended yellow period. Obviously, we took our time to take care of our driver that needed some help being extricated out of the car and is being taken away to a facility, it appears. But this is somewhat unusual, but like you had mentioned, we kind of overdo taking our time as far as when it comes to an emergency situation like that.
And you have to. You got to think about it being one of your own kids, your family members. I mean, like we said, we're all family here in TORC, and we want to make sure he can get going again.
Yeah, I'd rather see them be overly cautious, which is they're notorious for. So we'll give them about half a lap around, come back to green flag racing as they cross that TORC Amsoil arch in the middle of the racetrack. And Richie Kuloff is out there in that track in that brand new 2017 Toyota Escondido Pace truck on Vision wheels and Cooper tires. truck is off the track. We're going back to green flag racing as they cross the arch. We're underway. Derek Tilkins with a great jump from the drop of the green flag. As Corey Holcher lost second to Tyler Weans. Weans back into second. Oh, Holcher, big time contact. 3, 4, 5 cars as they get to the bottom of the hill. So Pete Delory's involved. Holcher's involved. Our points leader, Bo Ambos, is in it.
Yeah, Holger, you could see Holger coming down towards that final jump through the moguls. He just got all crossed up, and when he jumped off that jump, he was sideways, and when it hooked, in that 100 car in the HBI. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, he was running the top 3, top 4, but Bo Ambos in the 188, he's our current points leader in this class as the red flag is coming out. Man, Holcher's car is just mauled, both front suspension, rear suspension, the right rear is gone.
Man, that whole front stub is just twisted. But you can see Holger getting out of his car, trying to unbuckle all his restraints and his hoses. Great to see him out of that car.
Yeah, you can see the major disappointment. Looks like Whitey's right there, making sure he's okay. Who are you? Where are we? Kind of thing. At least I believe that's Whitey right there.
Yeah, you know they get their bell rung when they go upside down, and it's not only the initial hit when they come off the jump. I mean, it's the initial hit when the other cars come. It's a blind spot on the track, so it's crazy that it all developed that way, but it's scary.
So it looks like between that extended, it looks like because the extended time that we had with, there's also, much like motocross, outdoor nationals, there's a time limit, and it sounds like we're going to call this race as of right now. The time limit has expired with the extended time that we had at the competition yellow with the first incident, and now this one here is going to take some time to get these cars off the track, which will basically end the race right now as we have it. So that'll take care of the light buggy division. So Derek Tilkins will take the win. Tyler Weans will finish second. And I believe Billy Booth will be the third place car.
Yeah, you wonder, Billy Booth, he had a flat tire there before the mandatory.
Well, race fans, we're going to step aside real quick for a few words from our sponsor. We'll be right back with our winning interviews.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car are warranty. And what you need, the tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter, So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
Tires on the ground go round and round.
You know, Brent, that we were talking about some of the drivers that were really excited to come on back that were here actually 4 years ago to this date, today. To put it mildly, they're having a great time. Yeah, some of them got here on as early as Thursday morning, and they're just having a blast.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. Everyone around this whole facility, and when we used to race, we used to come in as early as we possibly could, but they just came in, and now it's amazing how many people are here, and the racers that come to the new facility, which if you haven't been to Redbud, you have to come to Redbud.
Oh, absolutely. And then do we want to also mention the fact that we're being watched live at TorqueSeries.com as well as YouTube. And so if you got friends that are at home, can't be here, let them know. Call them, text them, whatever, because they can watch us on the internet. In fact, some of the excitement that the drivers are feeling are being portrayed in this little ditty right here.
I think it's great to be back here in Redbud. This is where I won my first race, and you know, there's memory of that, and I love the fact that they got a new track out here. They got a bunch of space out here to build it.
I'm just excited to see the effort they put into it and the size of the track and the nice fencing and K-rails, and it looks beautiful.
The thing that's really unique about this track is it's really built like a motocross track. You know, Redbud is obviously famous for motorcycle racing, and that's carrying over into this track. So that means it's kind of real dodgy. There's a rhythm to the jumps, hairpin turns where you really got to get in there and set the truck and whip it around and be the first guy out of the hole.
The land rush start is something Crandon's iconic for, and it's a little different here. It's more like a moto style land rush start, funnels you down, and it looks interesting. It looks tight, technical. It's going to get rutted, be really good battles, and create some good action.
It's going to be tight coming in that first corner. It's like a 180, so that's exciting. You know, it brings me back to like racing quads and stuff, so it should be pretty fun.
There's a couple big jumps in the back. There's a double out of what I would call that Talladega turn 2 or whatnot into a rather large step up. From the side, it doesn't quite do it justice when you are strapped in the truck and look at the face on that thing. It's gnarly.
They got a little like mini Larocco's Leap back there, which is pretty cool, and off-camber turns and whoop-de-doos and things like that. And I love it when they put rollers and maybe fingers in the corner, and we're seeing all that. So a lot of thought went into it, and I hope it races well.
Everybody's equal coming into this. Nobody has an advantage or nothing, so it's whoever can adapt fastest and come on top.
It's Redbud. I mean, come on.
You know, what's kind of neat about that is every one of those drivers has raced here in moto or quads at one time or another. So that was kind of neat to see where they were at and how they feel about where they are now. So well, let's now meet our top 3 finishers from the light buggy division down at the podium. Finishing at 3rd spot, the 151. He makes his way to the podium one more time, Billy Booth. Well, it looks like once again we're having a little bit of audio issues, and that kind of happens from time to time when we have a brand new facility, moving equipment in. That's kind of one of those situations. We apologize for that, and we're doing our best. Once again, we have some of the best engineers and some of the best audio video guys in the country, to believe it or not. They've done all kinds of different forms of motorsports as well as action sports. So these guys have experience being on the side of a mountain on a snowy winter afternoon working, and I think they don't mind hustling around today to try to get things taken care of. So, well, let's now go down to that third place finisher and see if it works this time. How about it for the 151 of Billy Booth?
Congratulations to you. That's got to be a crazy, crazy race over there. How are the track conditions? Because it's a brand new track. What did you take off of that?
Well, this track is like this kind of fresh dirt that they dug up in their grass in the last week, and it's so slick, and I just slide in every corner, and then they got this big sand pit down here, and that was a lot of fun. Yesterday we ran after the pros and got all these big braking bumps, and today it was perfect for our cars. Could slide through there and have a lot of fun, but those big jumps in the back started hurting at the end, so unfortunately we couldn't get a full race in, but we're just happy to be up here. Got to thank Alternative Machine Tool, Mud Munch Motorized Tear-Offs, James Pub and Grill, our class sponsor, Point Out Ironworks, Walker Race Shocks, and Amsoil, our contingency sponsors, and all the fans that came out. Glad to see so many people out here. The stands are full, so thank you very much.
Well, congratulations. I know it's not where you want to be, but got tomorrow. The track's going to change, obviously, throughout the day. Can be anybody's game. Congratulations.
Taking that second spot, the 195. He started in that sixth spot, worked his way up to second. How about it for Tyler Wins?
Congratulations to you, Tyler. We thought that you had the windshield problem a little bit ago when we had that comp yellow, but obviously you didn't. The track is changing, and you heard Cam Reimers talk about that Talladega turn. Is that a difficult turn right now?
Yeah, it's a pretty one-line turn, but we really came into this race prepared. Our suspension was dialed. Every corner here was perfect. It was flawless. I was pretty excited. Wish we had the rest of the race to finish. But I'd like to thank my sponsors, SSI Decals, Amsoil, VP Racing Fuels, and Infinity Plastics. Thank you, everybody, for all the help.
You've done a great job. Can't wait to see what we got in store tomorrow. Congratulations.
And now taking that top spot, he started outside of row number 2, the 121 of Derek Tilkins.
Congratulations to Derek. That race, it was a stop and go. When you have something like that happens right before the comp yellow, then a comp yellow, then another crash, what goes through your mind to keep that mentality to head out front?
Nothing really. I was more worried about running out of fuel because he let it run the first time because it was getting hot, and then we shut it off the second time and said we'll just deal with it. But you lose your rhythm a little bit because you get so used to the track and things change. But all in all, it was all right. I'd like to thank Badger Race Wraps, Advanced Construction, Levine's Ice, my parents, Topher for coming out, Jason, Old Man River, everyone that helps. Thanks.
Well, you've done it here. Top place on that. Take this. One more round of applause for the light buggy. And back up to you, Scott and Brent.
Thanks a lot, Tiffany. One more time, congratulations to our top 3. Billy Booth, who, by the way, I talked to last night, both him and his dad. And Billy, you got one on your dad, so I think he's back in the pits waiting for you right about now. And finishing third, Billy Booth. Second, Tyler Wins, and Derek Tilkins, the top spot. Well, we got like one of the best vantage points. We're literally right here in the middle of the track, sitting right underneath race control, and we're looking at the fans on the entire hill. What a great shot! This is probably like one of the coolest spots we've ever been all season long.
Yeah, I was explaining to a bunch of my friends back at home and my brother. I was like, it's cool. We're not announcing like up on some kind of hillside. We're right directly in the middle of turn 1, so it'll be interesting.
Well, we got more racing coming up in just a moment. In the meantime, we're going to step aside, be right back with Single Buggies.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Well, race fans, we're going to change up just a little bit. We're going to jump into the side-by-side, the UTV division, the Sportsman UTV, and it doesn't get a whole lot more stock than this. We had talked about these guys almost wear safety features, safety seat, put in a roll cage, bracket up a few things, and go racing. This is about as stock as you can get.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, like lately, in the last couple of years, you see in my hometown in Bark River, you see a lot of people with side-by-sides, and I'm always telling them, especially at Bark River, I'm like, dude, you guys should just take them. You guys go trail riding all the time. I'm like, take it, put a cage in it, and go have some fun. And they're like, well, I don't know. I'm like, it's really not that expensive. Just get out and do it. You know, and it's just, this class is growing, and so is this whole UTV pro mod and pro stock throughout the years. It's ridiculous. We have qualifying, and some guys don't even get to run.
Yeah, here's our lineup. We're probably going to go green this time by. As you can see also that we've got Richie Kuloff, our pace vehicle driver in that brand new 2017 Yamaha YXE. On the front row, we got Trevor Bushmaker, 703. Nathan Slatinsky in the 756. Row 2 inside, Gabe Johnson alongside of Stetson Robinson. We got Vince Lamandola and Jacob Rosales in row 3. Corey Podolsky in the 708. Luke Stubbs in the 722. Connor Wood, 715. And we got Chris Foy and Ayek Hoffman. And, oh, we got one going up in smoke already, and that is not a good smoke. That's not steam. It's got that hint of a little bit of a blue in it, and that's not a good thing. Bushmaker with the early hole shot. Makes his way around. Now that's the sand pit area. That's what's really, really sandy. When they jump down this hill right in front of you and make that tight left-hander up until the point where they're at right now, that's all sand and very, very, very loose. And it looks like maybe a left rear flat or something's not right with the 711 of Vince Lamondola. Sounds like he's back underway, but no idea what the issue was, as he was just inching his way around this hairpin turn here in the infield right in front of us. As we go back up front, Bushmaker still with the lead. Slatinsky in that second spot. This class is made up primarily of Yamaha YXZs. There's a few Polaris Razors in it. I think there's 2 Polarises and the rest are all Yamahas.
This is such a cool section here. You go through a couple of different moguls, and then you drop off, and then we go right back into the sandy section, and that'll take any kind of horsepower and just lay it right down. You try to get back down in a lower gear and get a good drive out. Bushmaker still with our lead. Robertson second, Slatinsky in third. Rosales in fourth. Every one of the cars right in front of us trying to negotiate that first turn. Now they're in the back section up on the step up, and they're all seem to be clearing that second step up. Bushmaker coming back down. Is starting to develop 2 lanes here coming through the bottom here. One right next to those tractor tires, and then about 2 lines off up, trying to get as much of a run as you can climbing that hill. Bushmaker tiptoeing through. You'll see the different colors of dirt. That shinier, like brighter dirt on the bottom is normally like a blue groove, what they call. It's pretty much an ice skating rink half the time. You want to try to put that right rear or left rear right on that cushion and try to get a run out of every corner.
Now this is a brand new division for us for 2017. In fact, all the side-by-sides or UTVs are new to the series. As, man, was that Stetson Robinson that is showing smoke. I know we saw a ton of it at the start of the race, and there's just a little bit of it now, and the only one I see that would be doing that is Robinson. So I have to keep an eye on that second place car. Nice little battle for that top spot between Bushmaker and Robinson. Both Yamahas. As those two, our top 2, have pulled away from the field a little bit. Now we talk about sportsman and pro classes. Sportsmen are, I guess, the equivalent of the amateur ranks in motocross. We just don't call them amateur. We call them sportsmen. But they're the guys that have, daily jobs. They don't golf on the weekends. They don't go fishing a whole heck of a lot. They don't have any other avocation. But this is what they do. This is their fun stuff.
Yeah, this is their hobby. And
yeah.
I mean, like you said, the pro guys, there's quite a few of them that's what they do for a living, is race off-road trucks. But like you said, we don't call them amateurs. We call them sportsmen, and it's stepping stones. You have guys like Johnny Greaves, CJ Greaves that come out of the buggy classes, work their way up into the pro ranks, and this is what these guys are doing. You're going to see a lot of these guys in this pro mod, pro stock UTVs. They're going to move up into maybe even into the pro lights, or step into a super stock truck, or step into something faster than what they're in right now. But these things really do get around.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm looking at the timing of scoring right now. Believe it or not, there is smoke coming out of our second place car, Stetson Robinson. But he also has the fastest lap of the race. And as he goes around, keep an eye on this. Our vantage point, we're right on top of the track darn near. It looks like there's oil being leaked out onto the right rear. So you can see on the inside of the tire in that whole area, it's very, very dark compared to the rest of the car. So that tells me oil is being leaked out as the competition yellow comes out at the halfway point of Sportsman UTV. As one more time, we've got Richie Kuloff on the track in that brand new 2017 blue and white. equipped with the flasher lights, emergency lights, and the safety flags. Courtesy of Nielsen Enterprises out of the Chicago area. They helped us out with that earlier this year. So this will give guys that, this is when we start working our way into the faster classes, there's actually drivers that play that waiting game. They go out there and try to maintain position in the first half, maybe work their way up a couple of positions, but then they have the strategy where they have their vehicles, whether it's a buggy or a truck, set up for the second half. As the track dries out, things change in the suspensions. Things change in the tire groovings. Earlier in the race, it may be muddy. So they're all over the place because their tires are grooved for a dry track. But once that starts to come around, it's a whole different animal.
Yeah, it'll play out. A lot of guys play out way different than one another. And what I said earlier about making it like a strategy. You can't plan out a race, but you sure can be patient and wait your turn. And any one of these guys can win this race. And if you're sitting in the 4th, 5th spot, you're going to have to really charge. This is the second half of the race, and if you're out there to win, which any racer that I know wants to win, you go charge hard at that front. And like you said, if the tires are grooved for a drier, slick track rather than a muddy track, you'll see in this second half what happens.
Yeah, I'm looking at the running order right now. Trevor Bushmaker up front, Stetson Robinson still throwing a little bit of that smoke in certain areas of this racetrack. It looks like under deceleration, that's where it kind of puffs up a little bit. He's right now running in second. Jacob Rosales running in third. He started back in that 6th spot. And Nathan Slatinsky and Corey Podolsky round out the top 5 as our pace vehicles pulled off the track. We're going back to green flag. You see those little white flags, probably knee-high, right before the Amsoil arch. Our leader, once he hits that first flag, he can accelerate anytime he wants, and that's when our flag man throws the green flag face Esney as we're back underway for the second half. Now, if we were in a motocross race, this would be our amateur ranks. This would be our amateur day. But in off-road, it is the Sportsman ranks. You touched on that a little bit, and here we go. This is kind of one of the things we use other vernaculars where the second half guys take their gloves off. Now it's bare knuckles, and we're kind of seeing a little bit of that early on in the second half, especially from our top 2. Oh man, how about this? Stetson Robinson trying to hold it for a line for a moment, pull up alongside Bushmaker. Bushmaker still has the point. Not far behind is Jacob Rosales. One small mistake, and Rosales will make it a 3-car battle for the top spot.
And you see 2 different lines right there. Rosales and Bushmaker, you see they're running that bottom inside line. There's still grip down there, even though it's a blue groove. You still have about, maybe 10, 12 inches of dirt down there, but it'll make the car turn.
Nice turn by Jacob Rosales in third. Alec Hoffman in the lone Polaris out there has moved up into that 4th spot. Chris Foy in the top 5. And Bushmaker's pulled it out a little bit on this last lap, as that was about a 3, maybe 4 car length advantage from first to second. Trevor Bushmaker stretching out that lead a little bit more, a couple more car lengths on that last half lap. I kind of like how Johnny described that uphill jump as a mini Laraco's leap, because I never thought of it that way, but it is.
Yeah.
It absolutely blind, and there's only one way to make that thing work, and that's just put that pedal to the floor. There's only one way you're going to make that.
Yeah, you've seen some of the Pro 4s earlier in practice. They're landing on the backside right on the flats. So it'll be interesting as we go faster and faster throughout the day to see these cars and trucks just fly.
Now, again, these are basically showroom stock vehicles. The only thing that have been done to us to make the safety features, the cage, the seat, head and neck restraints, a couple extra bars in the door area, I'm sure, and beef up some of the suspension. That's it. There's not a whole lot to done. I don't believe you can do anything to the engine to modify things here and there, but no, this is a very stock vehicle on that racetrack. And how about that? Robinson still showing smoke out of that right rear area.
You can see the inside turn there as Stanton Robertson over-rotates just a little bit and tries to correct and trying to hunt down our leader, Bushmaker.
Still see that smoke coming out of our second place car, Stetson Robinson. As the white flag's coming out, there's time yet for Jacob Rosales in third to make a run for that second spot in the podium as our leaders pulled away.
Down in that sand section as they come back towards the hard right-hander.
How about that? Rosales makes the pass on that last turn, so Rosales now up in that second spot. Stetson Robinson falls back to third. Alec Hoffman still maintains fourth with Chris Foy in the top five. One turn remaining for our leader, Trevor Bushmaker. In the Sportsman UTV division, checkered flags in hand, Faye Stetsny is waving it in the air. Our win in Sportsman UTV goes to Trevor Bushmaker. Second, Jacob Rosales and Stetson Robinson will take third. Across the line, Alec Hoffman, Chris Foy, Luke Stubbs cross the line at sixth. Vince Lamandola, Connor Wood, Nathan Slatinsky, and the rest of our field cross the line. In a moment, we'll get our top three to the podium for their winning interviews. We'll be right back after this.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Mattitives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Mattitives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Well, race fun's hit Redbud. Let's now meet our top 3 finishers in Sportsman UTV. In that 3rd spot, he hung on to 2nd for as long as he could, lost it on the last lap, but still on the box. The 745 of Stetson Robinson.
Congratulations to you. That was quite a battle all the way to the very last end. When you're going out there setting up a track that's brand new like this, knowing you have a comp yellow, do you set up for the first half of the track or set up for the second half knowing that it's going to dry out and slick out a little bit for you?
Mainly try to set up for the second part. You get a whole bunch back up once you get going again. So,
who would you like to thank today for bringing you all the way up here on the 3rd place box?
I'd like to thank my parents, my girlfriend, Crash Addicts, Bikeman Performance, Valor Apparel, Lucas Oils, anybody else I forgot. Appreciate it.
Well, you've got the #1 out there as your spotter. You're doing pretty well this season. Can't wait to see what else you're doing.
And now finishing 2nd. There's proof in the pudding right there why he is our current points leader. Ran that 3rd spot all race long. Last lap pass for 2nd. In it for the points, the 713 of Jacob Rosales.
Congratulations to you, Jacob. Even though 2nd place, you got that pass over Stetson on the 2nd to the last lap. Going through that, you're still the point leader right now. We have a few more a few more rounds. What are you thinking about going on?
Just keep it the same, stay in first. That's the goal. I'd like to thank Victory Land Auto Sales, Jersey Mike Subs, SOB Build, my family, and Lemonola family, and Zach Martin family.
Well, you got that down. Can't wait to keep seeing you up here. Congratulations. Hop up on #2.
And taking that top spot, had the lead from the pole, the green flag, the comp yellow, and the checkered flag. The 703 of Trevor Bushmaker.
Congratulations to you, Trevor. It's so good seeing you up here. You took that whole shot. You never looked back. You're taking that top box today. How do you feel right now? First time ever, new track at Redbud.
Dude, this is awesome. It's a dream come true. You know, growing up watching all these guys race, dreaming to be out here, and now made it happen. I'd like to thank my sponsors, KGB Custom Fabs, Johnny G Motorsports, Power Sports One, Dan Bieber Equipment, Beaver Machine, Amsoil, Dexter for being my spotter. Mark, thanks for the help. And everybody I'm missing, thank you.
Well, you've done it here, and I've always said that winning breeds confidence, and you got that confidence now. Hop up on #1. One more round of applause for your Sportsman UTV, and back up to you, Scott and Brent.
Well, thanks a lot, Tiff. And once again, congratulations to our top 3, Stetson Robinson, Jacob Rosales, and Trevor Bushmaker. We are preparing for our next race, which now is the single buggy race. We'll be right back with that in a moment.
Cooper tires on the ground, go round and round, round and round, round and round. Tires on the car, all warranty. And what you need? The tires on the car help keep you safe. They grip the road when you hit the brakes.
Your tires matter. So count on Cooper, an American company since 1914.
Tires on the ground, go round and round.
There we have a great crowd shot looking directly at the Race and Dirty display. We've got Division wheels on the right side. We've got Kenda tires right there, and then off in the background, off camera, I'm sorry guys, the coolest display in this whole place. Guess what it is? The U.S. Air Force Thunderbird jet, the F-16, back in the period on display with all the guys here from the U.S. Air Force. Do yourself a favor, go back there and check this thing out. Very interactive, very cool. But we have a full slate of vendors here, and starting with Tim and Timmery from Race and Dirty with some really cool T-shirts. Our next class coming up will be the 1600 buggy class, and here's our current points chase. And what's really cool about this, Tony Keepers, he's been very, very strong all season long, with obviously with a 169. But Bruce Fraley, there's a cool story there. The driver's from Las Vegas, keeps his car here in the Midwest, maintains a business back in Las Vegas, flies back and forth, keeps his car here. Either he stays here an extra day or two, works his car, preps it for the next race, or goes right home, comes back a day or two early, and preps the car getting it ready. And it's kind of neat because he's got a bunch of followers, I'm quite sure, and I think they call themselves Fraley's groupies. Are they here? Where's all the there they are, all those crazy green T-shirts. Yeah, Dawn has been talking to me via text message or some sort of messages all season long, so it's going to be kind of anxious to hear what she has to say today via the internet. But it's cool to see somebody from Las Vegas here with that many people here cheering them on. As they get ready to come out here with the 1600 buggy division, Brent, let's talk about that class, but just do a class description so the fans know what we're watching.
They're a VW motor, and they have a 3.0 shock on the rear, 2.5-inch shock on the rear. They land a lot better than the light buggy class, and now that the single buggy, they go a little bit faster. They get up the pace. They can drive out of the turn a little bit harder, and they still have a smaller, I think it's like a 10-inch shock on the front, but they still have their decent amount of travel on the rear. So they can take the jumps, they can take the hits, and the cars go faster, and they can get out of a mistake a little bit easier than a light buggy.
And one thing we haven't touched also is these cars have turning brakes. So
exactly.
It helps them turn around. They are so weight heavy in the rear of the car, obviously, because that's where the motor's located, that they don't go into a corner and just turn the wheel. They'll just keep on going straight all the way into town. So you actually utilize those turning brakes. And when they go into a corner, they don't just lay on that lever or pull on that lever and hang on. They just kind of tap, 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 and kind of just eases that car around. It kind of locks up either the left rear or the right rear.
Yeah, I could see that earlier in practice right in front of us when they'd come in this 180 here. You could see a couple guys would try early on to try to throw it in there. And like you said, it don't always work, and you're going to push through the turn. And then you've seen 60-80% of the other cars entering a little bit wider and then grabbing that turn brake just to help them rotate that car a little bit easier.
And it looks like we've got Richie Kuloff now out of that Yamaha YXZ and back in that Escondido Toyota on Vision wheels and Cooper tires. We've had that car on the track, or that truck out on the track all season long with Richie behind the wheel. We've often said, that he's got the best job of everybody here. Here's our lineup as they make their way around for their half lap of reconnaissance before we go to green flag. On the front row, we got Ryan Mottinger in the 343, Guy Sinkowski in the 337. Row 2, Jason Pflugrant in the 356, J.D. Corin in the 369. In row 3, Matt Gerald in the 395 and Craig Padel in the 300. Row 4, Dylan Parsons and Jeff Baczynski alongside. In row 5, Dave Luger and Bruce Fraley. Tony Keepers is inside of row 6, our current points leader, Jeff Villamore and Brian Hainland in the 302. And back in that inside of row 3, we need to talk about that a little bit. It was 4 years ago today that driver starting inside of row 3, the 395 of Matt Gerald, was in a pro light. And during practice that morning, on that track that's behind you, back in the motocross track, he cased his pro light really, really, really bad, to the point where I couldn't even begin to tell you the injuries he suffered to his back and neck. But he was told that he would never walk again by the doctors in South Bend, the hospital in Chicago. He didn't go home for upwards of 4 months, I believe it was. He was told he would not walk. Well, guess what? He fought back. He fought back hard. And guess what? He's not only walking, but he is racing. Matt Gerald in the 395 starting outside of row 2. Green flag is out. We're underway. They're 4 wide coming down the hill.
Wow, looks like we had a little contact going into the sand section.
How about that? Ryan Mottinger, the hole shot. Right behind him, Jason Pflugrant, and Mottinger finds himself in a very advantageous place. Yeah, right now they're 3 wide going down that backstretch up into that mini Laraco's Leap. And this is a very tough track with these cars being on a wet track. Very hard for these cars to clear some of these jumps, but as it dries out, they should have no problem with it. Bruce Fraley starting that 10th spot. Right now, I believe he's in the top 5. Yeah, he's actually in that 4th spot. Fraley has moved up 6 positions in a half lap. He's out there in that bright fluorescent yellow car. Mauser's falling back to 2nd. Pflugrad now our leader.
I think Moninger has a problem. He just keeps getting off the pace here. It just, you wonder if the transmission's going or something in the drivetrain. See, that's Dylan Parsons in the 319. 319 earlier got help, a little bit of help in the Sandy section rotating.
Matt Gerald over rotates right here in front of us. Gets back underway, was able to save it, doesn't go all the way around, but he's pretty far back in the field. As it looks like Brian Hanlon in the 302 is being pulled off the track on the hook right now. Fraley moving up now in that 3rd spot, going after 2nd, right on the back bumper of the 319 of Dylan Parsons.
Yeah, if you're in the single buggy class, the last person you want to see is Bruce Fraley on your back door.
And the thing is, you'd think him being from Las Vegas, he'd have issues on a wet track, slick track, basically being a desert guy, dust guy, knowing how to get around when it's dry. No, the guy knows how to get around any track, without a doubt.
Yeah, I was talking to Bruce earlier, and he's like, 8 laps? He's like, what is this, just like a heat race, he said? And here comes Bruce up the hill.
He's on the outside. Pflugrad pushes wide. Fraley maintains that 3rd spot, but right in the back bumper.
That's the thing with Bruce Fraley, though, Scott. He will work you outside, inside. He'll show you a front tire, and then, like now, you see that Parsons opened up just a little bit of a gap. But I can guarantee it won't take Fraley long. He's trying. You see him on the wider side of the track, trying to get a little bit of grip. Because when you take that 180 after the step up, or we could call it Laraco's Leap, when he comes back, it slides you out on that blue groove.
Yeah, further back in the pack, I'm watching right now Matt Gerald, who we mentioned a little bit earlier in the race, having some sort of issues as he over-rotates once again. Now he goes all the way around, and he's well back in the pack and off the pace considerably. So there's something wrong with that car, as he was really, really looking forward to today.
There's a good look at Keepers, Tony Keepers. What a year he has been having. Their points leader in that 352 car. Like I said earlier, look at Fraley. Fraley right back on the back door of Parsons.
Yeah, he's been making a run at it. He faded back about a half lap ago and has just basically made a charge at it. And that's what you got to do in this sport. You can't just like lose ground, then drag race up to the car in front of you. You have to make a run at it. Plan that pass, whatever you're going to make it. Probably about a half, this track, probably about almost a full lap before you get there.
Yeah, guys always thinking, a gal or girl, anyone in these cars, you're thinking lap by lap. Okay, what did that corner do the previous lap? Don't do that.
Here we
try
go.
to make it better.
Inside exit, coming out Fraley, trying to make the pass before the competition. Yellow, not able to pull it off. So across the line, Jason Pflugrad has the lead. Dylan Parsons in that 2nd spot. Bruce Fraley 3rd. Tony Keepers, how about that? Our current points leader up into that 4th spot, starting 11th. So he passed a lot of cars to get just outside that top spot on the box. Dave Luger crossed the line in that 5th spot. As the comp yellow comes out, Richie Kuloff out there in that Toyota Escondido pace vehicle with Vision wheels and Cooper tires. But there's a couple of things going on right now. Honestly, talking about Bruce Fraley working over Dylan Parsons. I got to throw it out to Parsons, man. He's doing a hell of a job holding him off.
Yeah, you're talking about a multi-time champion, Bruce Fraley, and you don't want to give him an edge, especially in the late part of this race. And you know Fraley, he's going to take his time, but you're going to see. He's going to probably try to dive bomb Parsons early in the 319 because he wants to go after the 356 of Pfluger, Jason Pfluger in the front spot. And like we've seen all year long, Fraley, he don't go away. He's going to keep coming at you all the way until the end.
And the other story to talk about is Tony Keeper started 11th, right now in that 4th spot. He's our points leader. So that's a car, obviously, to keep an eye on. Yeah, it looks like Tony Keepers, as I'm looking at timing and scoring. There's only 2 drivers. They're in the 124 bracket. And Bruce Fraley with a 124.9. Tony Keepers 124.4. So Keepers is the fastest car on the track at this point. And incidentally, Bruce Fraley currently 2nd in points. Tony Keepers currently our points leader. So the top 2 in our points championship chase are working their way to the front. Pretty much together. But you can't rule out Jason Pfluger, who's had a heck of a season so far as well. And Dylan Parsons having a great job holding down Bruce Fraley out of Las Vegas. Pfluger hits that first white flag on the course markers. Green flag is out as he nails a great start. As the second half is back underway.
Yeah, it didn't look like Bruce Fraley got the restart that he wanted. The top 2 guys kind of walked away from him, but as you see, the 312 coming right back.
He may have just opened the door. Parsons opened the door for Fraley. Parsons pinches down hard. Fraley trying to inch his way around. I'm kind of thinking we're at a point where we may see contact to complete a pass. Fraley, though, is one of the cleanest drivers on this track, and he won't do it unless he absolutely has to. As Fraley now has that inside line going up the hill, up over the mini. Larocco's leaping that left-hand turn. Fraley still on the inside. Fraley off the track. Fraley goes inside off the track, comes back on. Side by side with Parsons.
He even went off the track and he still made it work.
He's not even on the brakes. He stalled the car for a moment, grabbed that inside line, and now here comes Tony Keepers on Fraley. Keepers looks like he's made the pass. Our points leader has now gotten around our 2nd place points car of Fraley. So Keepers, boy, he made a smart move on that turn.
Tony Keepers launching off the downside jump in the sand section. All over the back of Parsons. And you see Fraley and both Keepers, they try to go wide. Fraley trying to get as big as a run as he can and trying to shove it to the bottom.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact between Fraley and Keepers. A little bump in the back bumper to Keepers. But I'm telling you right now, as strong of a run that Jason Pfluger has had, I got to throw it out to that young man, Dylan Parsons, running in 2nd. That is a former car that Liam O'Donnell owned and ran in the East Coast Off-Road Series. That was formerly one of the Baldwin cars back during the core days.
Wow.
And Yeah, we got to throw it out to, I heard a little story about that car and what Parsons did to go pick it up. He drove all the way from Wisconsin out to New Jersey, loaded the car up, it was there a whole half hour, and drove back straight.
Oh, wow.
So bought the car from Liam O'Donnell, our current Monster Jam World Finals freestyle champion in the VP Madditive Mad Scientist truck. Kind of has a little bit of a thumbprint of what's going on here today, but he's not here. I think he's racing in an off-road series this weekend back in Jersey someplace.
He's always doing something.
Yeah. Keepers makes a dynamite pass to the inside. Into second. Tony Keepers second. Bruce Fraley now into third. Fraley again gets into Keepers.
Fraley was checked up.
And Parsons got in the back of Fraley and helped Keepers all the way around. Keepers will lose 3, maybe 4 spots. And boy, oh boy, will there be a call being made on this as I'm watching our flagman right now. See, that's what you gotta watch for. When something happens to the track, watch the flagman. If you see him reach up for his headset radio, you know a call is being made by the officials. Meanwhile, there has been no movement by our flagman yet, as he has that white flag in hand, and Jason Pflugrad has a sizable lead. There's the white flag being waved. Here comes Fraley. Parsons in third.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna, I mean, we didn't get another look at that replay, but Fraley was all locked up, so you can't really put it on him. I mean, everybody's driving hard, and we said earlier, you're gonna have to move somebody to get the position, and Fraley, he's not a dirty driver, but he's trying to move Keepers out of the way, and he got a little bit of help behind him to turn Keepers around.
And the thing is, the Keepers miss a shift because we're at a spot right here where they are downshifting to get around this turn. Did he miss a shift and kind of had to check up or something?
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Wow. Pflugrad is on the move, trying to save that top spot, but Fraley made a perfect turn here right in front of us in race control. This race is far from over right now. Man, Jason Pflugrad is just hauling the mail. Checker flags in hand, 1 turn remaining. Fraley is still gaining on the ground. Clean through turns, aimed at the Amsoil finish line. Jason Pflugrad will take the top spot. Wow, Bruce Fraley second. Nice run by Dylan Parsons. Dave Luger comes around, started 9th, will finish 4th. Tony Keepers, I'm sure we'll have a discussion with all the boys on the podium here this afternoon as he comes around and finishes 5th. Ryan Moniger, early leader, finished 6th. Jeff Paszynski, Matt Gerald in 8th. We'll get our top 3 to the podium in just a moment. In the meantime, we'll step aside for a few words from our sponsors. We'll be right back after this.
Rugged Radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Yeah, there's the backside of our little cabin there in the infield with a great shot of the crowd in the background. But early in the race, we mentioned something about Matt Gerald and what he went through 4 years ago to the date. And he finished 8th today, a little off the pace. But you know something, he was said at that point last year, or 4 years ago, he would never walk again. Now is he walking with help, but he's also racing. And he has to do a lot to his car to get ready for to be able to race. And here's a little ditty about that.
Mikey and I would brainstorm at the shop and how we could get this to work. Mikey and I thought about it, and we came up with this contraption. It's for me to drive again, because when I can drive a pickup, my car fine, but when I'm going around corners and stuff, like I need my left leg to stay kind of in place because I don't have the strength unless I'm pushing gas or brake. It's kind of what they use in NASCAR to keep your legs from flopping around. So we designed this tunnel because when I would go around corners, my left leg would come off the clutch and it'd be kicking the brake. So with this tunnel, it allows me to keep my leg in, and there's enough crumple zone too if someone were to get in the tubing that it wouldn't hurt me. We also modified the seat. Like, this is a custom-made ISP seat for me. Raise this up a little bit to get the support underneath my thigh, and that allows me to have the strength to go from gas to brake, just like my pickup or my street car. My dream is to win a single buggy race. Like when I was racing light buggies, I would get pissed if I didn't win, and you'd rattle off 5-6 wins in a row, and then you kind of take it for granted. Like, now it's so hard, and but it's fun. I mean, we're still chasing it, so.
Yeah, without a doubt. I had a chance to spend some time with them yesterday, and ironically enough, where they're pitted back in the Sportsman pit area is about 100 yards, not even 100 yards, probably 100 feet from that incident happened 4 years ago today. But to Matt Gerald, hell of a job getting back on the track. Well, race fans, let's now meet our top 3 finishers in the 1600 single buggy division. Finishing at 3rd spot, he started 7th, ran up to 2nd, hung on for the 3rd spot on the podium, but one hell of a race by this young man, the 319 of Dylan Parsons.
Congratulations to you. I just had a chance to talk to you, and you told me in the first lap you lost your brakes, you lost your brake pads, so you were just going and going and going for 8 laps. How is that going? What is going through your mind, actually?
I kept saying to my spotter, I don't have brakes, and I'm like, what do I do? And he's like, just turn your bias as far as you can. And I had some front brakes, but not much. And I feel bad for getting into JD on the first lap, but I had no brakes, and I just came into that corner, and it's all I had. I'd like to thank my dad, my spotter Johnny, Eric, the Geralds, Kinner, M-Tech, Specialty Box and Crate, everyone that helps me out. Thanks.
Well, you've done a great job, and I know not having brakes is something that you don't want to have, but it seemed to keep you going fast, get you here, so congratulations. I know you guys are going to regroup. Hop up on number 3.
Finishing at 2nd spot, Bruce, you might be in a little hot water back in the pit area in just a couple of minutes. All the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, currently 2nd in points, the 312 of Bruce Fraley.
Congratulations to you, Bruce. We've talked time and time again. You've always keep podium here. You are such a methodical racer. When it comes to a track that's brand new like this, do you have a game plan going up, or obviously it's lap by lap and it changes each time?
Well, I knew it was going to be a muddy start, and it's going to be muddy for at least 3 to 4 laps, so I was kind of taking it easy, and they were crashing, spinning in front of me, and I was just trying to get through this mess. But I have to apologize to Tony Keepers. It really wasn't my fault. Dylan had no brakes. He hit me. I hit Tony. I'm sorry it happened. I don't like racing like that, but not my fault.
Well, there's a lot of people that brought you here today. I know your wife is always watching. She's always messaging Scott. Who would you like to thank?
Larry and Lauren Hammond for giving me a place to stay when I come here. My wife at home, taking care of everything. All the family, my sister's sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws are all right here from Chicago, support me 100%. Fat Performance for giving me a great motor. Fultz Trannies, Freeman's Carpet Service. Everybody else that supports me. Sean Morse, God, I can't ask for a better program to be able to pit in his pit and the love that they give me. And hats off to this guy right here, second place. He's been a long time, man. You deserve it.
Well, congratulations to you. Hop up on number 2.
And this afternoon in the 1600 single buggy division, one hell of a race, young man. The 356, Jason Flugrad.
This is yours, well-deserved. After 5 years, you are finally here. So excited. I had a chance to talk to you right after the race. I said in one word, how are you feeling? You said hot. How is this going for you right now, and what are you thinking about this entire top finish experience?
I don't know what to think yet. It's been a long road, lots of problems this year, and hopefully we got them worked out.
You know, have you heard the Sportsman teary cry? You know what happens, right? You get a hug from me. Every time any guy cries, everybody always gets a hug. Well-deserved. I know you have a few people that you'd like to thank today.
I got to thank Mike Kelly for giving me this opportunity, all my sponsors, Tilkins Motorsports. Thank you.
Well-deserved. Hop up on number 1. One more round of applause for your 1600 buggy top finisher. And back up to you, Scott and Brent.
Thanks a lot, Tiffany. And one more time, congratulations to our top 3 finishers, Dylan Parsons, Bruce Fraley, and Jason Flugrad. Nice job, guys. Well, race fans, you guys probably have one of the most advantageous views of this racetrack of anybody here, including us down here in the infield. As you can see, the whole facility. But you know what? There's one thing that you can't tell, and that's what it's like on the racetrack. And we were lucky enough to grab Cam Reimers in the Pro Light Division and jump in his truck as we went around the racetrack, and he describes what Redbud and the off-road track is all about.
All right, here we go. We're starting off at the whole shot start straight. Everyone that's familiar with Crandon knows that we run in a turn 1 land rush style. This is gonna be even more moto-esque since we're here at Redbud Motocross facility. It's gonna funnel down really quick, not gonna be a fast straightaway and not gonna be a fast turn 1, but we head into this single right off the bat. And you're gonna be flicking the truck in, and if you're a fan, this is gonna be where you wanna stop by at the end of the race. I predict quite a bit of fiberglass in this turn from all the contact. Coming out of turn 1, this is gonna be interesting off this little drop off here, how you set up for this Talladega turn 2. I think you can be able to dive in on the inside, make a pass in the turn. If you're gonna run the outside, I think you may lose a little bit of time in the turn, but you're gonna get an insane drive up this hill on the second little straightaway. A couple big jumps that I think you can kind of fly as far as you want. Maybe the Pro 4s might have enough speed they might have to check up, but pretty good sized double out of this turn heading up the start straight. Plenty wide enough if you get one of those runs out of Talladega turn 2, you'll be able to head up this uphill and hopefully make the pass before you get into turn 3. This jump, very Larocco's Leap-esque. Redbud's famous for some pretty gnarly jumps on their track, and this is gonna be pretty awesome watching the trucks launch this. So, negotiating a little bit of mud here. We got some rain last night. It'll make the track rut up pretty good today. Everyone's familiar with Redbud and how phenomenal the dirt is and how well it ruts up and makes it interesting at the end of races to negotiate the track. You're gonna come out of turn 3, and this is gonna be a lot like on the motocross track, going by the mechanics area. There is a flyaway right here that I'm sure doesn't look that gnarly on camera, but it is big. It's big, it's blind. You're gonna wanna time it right, and then you're gonna charge down this hill into turn 4.
Big dirt wall on the outside, kind of like the same as turn 2. If you run the outside, you're going to get an awesome drive up the hill and into our finish line. So I'd suspect to see some block passes, maybe some guys that try to protect and get driven around the outside. Here coming to the checkered flag on the last lap. Little stutter bump out of the turn right about here. And then, yeah, coming up through the TORC arch. Just a beautiful facility. I've been coming here for a long time with my ATV motocross days. You know, definitely over 10 years here. The Ritchie family just does an awesome job. This was the place that I got my first podium in an off-road truck when we were over on the motocross park. The new track here is just phenomenal. You know, always a beautiful place to come, awesome layout. The Ritchie family definitely knows what they're doing, and excited to be back here. Here, this will be interesting in practice today. This turn, little stutter bump on the inside. Come out of here, it's gonna get really ruddy today. We had quite a bit of rain last night. 2 little humps again. Definitely trying to keep your truck straight and charge down this little downhill, off cambered, left side high, right side high, and you're gonna charge down this hill through this S-curve. This is a spot, I don't see it as being a huge passing point, but a place that you can definitely run up on guys. Fun little double, I think, here. You're gonna be flicking the truck, just getting over this small little double. And then this is a big face of this jump. There's not much on the backside beside a sand pit. So guys will be in the brakes with all the speed that they've got. Truck will be sideways. It'll almost look like a motorcycle scrub. So it'll be pretty cool. You don't want to land right about here down in this G out. I think in a Pro Light, you know, you're going to be hurting. In a Pro 4, you're risking braking stuff as well. Final turn is a grass turn. This will be interesting all weekend, and that puts you right back on the start straight where we took our whole shot, and that's a lap at Redbud.
I like how he said, yeah, where we took our whole shot. Confidence, man. I've always, when I first met him and his family, again, I keep thinking they're from Iowa, but he is the most California-looking Iowan I think I've ever met. Cam Reimers, what a cool kid to hang out with, and he's always got that goofy smile on his face.
He is. He's a great kid. I had a good opportunity yesterday to talk with him, and we talked about how you're going to need to do block passes like he was explaining. The track changes so much. You have off-cambered turns, and you have to make every point of the track count. And you're going to have grass section, you have blue groove, and then you have the sand section. So you have to be a driver at this track, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It sounds like our third member of our broadcast team is a special guest. Tiffany, who do you have?
Thanks, guys. I am here with Sergeant Gartland from the U.S. Air Force. Had a chance to talk to him today. If you guys haven't seen that brand new F-16 out there, make sure you guys go check that out. When we were talking about that, Sergeant Gartland, I just want to say thank you so much for being here, and obviously thank you so much for everything that you do. We're here to be because of that, because of what you guys do in the military. But with that F-16 out there, it's got to have a lot of horsepower. It's got to have a lot of speed. What can you tell us about that?
Well, as far as the top speed, I can't really divulge that because some of that information is classified, but it's definitely fast enough to do the job.
When we're taking out an F-16, what would you use that for out in the military base, out in, you know, the air? Obviously, you can't tell me everything, but what do you guys really use an F-16 for?
So that really is designed to drop ammunition where we need it most. So you'll have every branch of service that requires air support, and that's really the Air Force's primary goal, is to provide the support in the air. So if they need strikes, if they need to clear an area, that's what we use that for.
So with the F-16 being out there, are guests allowed to be able to get in there, or are we just looking at it? They can obviously look into the cockpit, they can see everything that they have there, but you can't necessarily get in it. But if they do want to do this for real life and they want to get into those things, you are a recruiter here, so you're going to be able to recruit some people, so make sure you see Sergeant Gartland. Where else could they find you?
Absolutely. If you go to airforce.com, that's where you can find most of the information for the Air Force. You can do, there's simulators on there, there's information, there's different, contact your local recruiter. So you can go right on the website and find out any information you need to.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sergeant Gartland, for joining us here. Thank you to the U.S. Air Force, and make sure you guys check out that F-16. Back up to you, Scott and Brent.
Thanks a lot, Tiffany. And once again, there's a lot of other stuff up there as well with the F-16. With the Thunderbird, the paint scheme of the Thunderbirds, but there's also a full display, fan interactive active display with the Air Force up there. So make your way up there and check it out. It's very, 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 very cool. Hey, race fans, our first truck race of the day super stock. Oftentimes, Brett, this is your class. This is what you used to race in. Real quick, explain this class.
Well, we were talking yesterday. It's a 3.0 shock class. I mean, you can run a 2.0 shock, 4 or 3 on each wheel. Now they're upgrading. We always said this should be called a pro stock class because there's nothing stock really about these trucks except for the A-frame. They can build them right from the ground up off the frame. They can put a whole cage on them. These trucks land very well. That truck that Ben Holder's in, me and my twin brother Brock, we had an opportunity in 2011. Actually, I got to win here at Redbud 6 years ago and won my first time out. So that truck is a dominant truck in the class. It works well, but you have Joey Machosik. I mean, you can run down the order countless times.
What kind of engine in that
The
thing?
engines, you got a Ford, Dodge, Chevy motor. They're running anywhere from 380 to 400 and some horsepower in these trucks, and they get out of the hole a little bit faster than what we've seen earlier in today than the buggy classes. But every one of these trucks are just competitive. Any given top 6, 7, 8 trucks in this class, you see Nick Bing in the Holger Brothers truck, he can move to the front. You have Funk on the front row. These trucks are all competitive. They're a super stock truck, but nothing stock really about them if you ask me.
Here's our lineup. We got Tyler Playman, Mike Funk on the front row, Ben Holcher, Tom Graff in row 2, row 3, Kenny Platt and Nick Visser, row 4, Kyle Cooper, Nick Bing, Joey Machosik, inside of row 5 in the 851, Dan Walcox and Scott Allison in the 813. Oftentimes, this race right here is the best race of the weekend. Uber competitive, side-by-side racing. There will be contact sometime during this race. I guarantee that much. Mike Funk, our early leader, in the 807. Tyler Playman, they're 3 wide as the 812 of Kenny Platt goes around. He'll end up dead last in the field. Now, what's really cool about this class, probably more so in this class than all the others, but the whole sport is like this, but more so in this class, if somebody has a problem back in the pit area, they all get together and they all pitch in to get that guy on the track. But when they're on the track, I don't like you.
It's a war.
You're a little dick, kind of thing. But boy, when they're back in the pit area, they do everything possible for each other to get them on the track.
Looks like Ben Holger taking over that second spot. Ben Holger going to try to run down Michael Funk.
Tough break for Dan Wilcox as he's pulled off the track in the 806. He's out of the race very early, but man, oh man, Mike Funk is pulling away from the field. Man, they're going way wide. Visser now in the third. Nice job by Visser.
And we see right in front of us, we see how drastic it can change. Trucks are over-rotating as one's rotating right in front of us. You try to enter that corner a little bit wider, almost up by the K-rail on the left-hand side. You want to try to get the truck turned before you enter the turn.
Yeah, there's definitely, you want to hit the apex, at least in the turn right here in front of us. And it looks like everyone comes in real tight early. As you look at the tracks, look at the tracks. They come in real tight early and come out wide, and that's not what you want to do.
No, you want to outside, inside, and try to grab that bottom dirt. And you see a lot of them are struggling it early in the race.
Yeah, like our points are Joey Machosik. He's well back in the pack at 8th right now. And that white Ford, all-white Ford, he's been strong all season long, but right now struggling to get his way to the front. But I got to call out Mike Funk. He's looking better now in this race than he has all season long. But in all actuality, we got a long way to go yet.
Good to see Kyle Cooper back in the 873, coming back into the TORC series. Had good runs earlier in the year. As you can see, Ben Holter trying to turn that truck.
See Joey Matrosik trying to make something happen. It looks like he made the pass on Tom Graff right here in front of the race control booth.
And getting back when we were talking about when you're trying to rotate the truck, I remember me and my brother, we would tell each other, you got to flick the truck in. You can't drive into the turn. It's no different. We were talking with single buggy. You have all that weight in the rear, it just pushes you right out.
Nick Visser having a good run. Starting that 6th spot, currently on that final podium box. But he's getting a little heat right now from Kyle Cooper. Cooper has shown flashes of big-time speed this season.
Wow, looks like Ben Holger off the track in the 844. Something happened to Ben Holger.
Oh, in the 812 of Kenny Platten. He's spitting out fluid out of the radiator, which is located right behind the cab, up real high. But you can see water being, squirting out basically right behind his head on the outside of the truck. So that truck is getting hot right now. But man, oh man, how about Mike Funk? He's absolutely burying the field as he comes out of that final corner before the Amsoil finish line. There's the competition yellow. Richie Kuloff is on the track right now in that brand new Toyota Escondido Pace truck on Cooper Tires, Vision Wheels. And Mike Funk will pull up alongside of him as the rest of the field crosses the Amsoil finish line. And they will all assume their position in order. A single file line for one lap, get all regrouped, and they'll retake the green flag as they come back around at the Amsoil start finish line. Now that we have a little peace and quiet, we'll say, right before, if you're on the hill, look to the right, and before the Amsoil finish line, you see a series of 2 small white flags in the ground on the inside and the outside of the track. That is the start zone, much like you see in NASCAR now, or sprint cars even for that matter. Once our leader gets that first flag, he has the choice of where he can start, either right away or all the way up to the second flag. As soon as he accelerates, though, that's where our flagman, Faye Stetsny, is watching. As soon as he sees that acceleration from the leader, he'll throw the green flag for the rest of the field. So the ultimate restart is being done by Mike Funk, our leader. So keep an eye on that when they make their way all the way around. But our running order right now, our top 5, Joey Matrosik, still kind of far back in that pack, in mid-pack. He's right now in 5th. Nick Bing 4th. Kyle Cooper 3rd. Nick Visser and Mike Funk running 2nd and 3rd. This is we're going to start to see, I believe, at this point where we said it before, take those gloves off because they are no longer friends. They may be once they pull into the pits. And let's have a couple of beers in our own pits, maybe refresh ourselves for about an hour or so, and then we're friends again. Kind of let things calm down. But right now, they are not friends. The gloves are off, and I guarantee you this. I said it before the race started, but now it's really going to be emphasized the fact that there will be contact in the second half. Absolutely.
I hate to keep bringing it up, but I think this turn right in the infield here is going to be a big factor in this second half. And if I was in one of those top 3 trucks, especially in the 2nd or 3rd spot, you're going to hope that Funk comes in here really, really tight. And if you're sitting in the 2nd, 3rd spot, you want to try to apex that turn. And if you can get that bottom side on Funk and get to him, maybe you can push him up into that K-rail and get the spot.
Yeah, every single truck coming into this turn right here in front of the race control comes into the inside, and every truck is pushing. They're turned to the right, and they're having issues pushing. So it looks like there may be some sort of medical issue with the 844 of Ben Holcher. So, boy, they're having a rough day. I believe was it Bob Holcher in the buggy class. Had the issue, rolled over.
Yeah, he did. He got
was taken
caught
out of his
tangled.
car, and now we've got another Ben Holcher as he's being checked out right now. So we're gonna basically have a medical issue, and we've stopped the race at this moment. We're getting everything checked out, and again, this is where we talked about earlier, where we are being overly cautious, if there is such a thing. We have some of the best guys in motorsports on our safety crews, and they're all down there right now. As you're looking at the field at the top of the hill to the far left side of the course towards the back, we're checking out Holcher and making sure that things are okay. The running order, once again, our top three: Kyle Cooper, third; Nick Visser, and Mike Funk, second and third. This is a situation where one guy in that safety crew is very serious, making sure the eyeballs are where they're supposed to be, and he's thinking what he's supposed to be thinking, and
making sure he doesn't think he's at home.
Yeah, where are you at? Are you married? Well, that's not a good question. You could deny it, just deny it, but that's not a good question. But the thing is, then there's always one of the safety crew guys that's kind of like a semi-comedian, kind of keeping things light. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen a driver, he could be in a world of hurt, and he's sitting there giggling, because there's always that one guy, and you'll love to see that. Our next race coming up will be probably the most fun race, at least for the kids. And mom and dad or aunts and uncles, if you've got the nieces and nephews or your young ones up there in the hill with you, you're probably not going to like this next race. Because I can guarantee you this one thing. They're going to see this. Your young ones are going to see this next class, and they're going to start bugging you from here to eternity, and at least until they're 16, to get one of these things. Because when you turn 16, you outgrow this class. It's the short course carts. They're little tiny mini trucks. They're basically, a lack of a better way of putting it, but go-karts with like 20 inches of travel.
Yeah,
And
they're cool
so they're little trucks. And so we got that race coming up next. The short course carts. Then we've got Super Buggies, Pro Light and Pro 4. And then we got what? Super Stock UTV.
Pro Stock, Pro Mod.
Pro Stock and Pro Mod UTV.
And then we'll finish it with Pro 2.
Yeah, seeing these trucks yesterday in practice, basically on that backstretch and that mini Loracco's Leap, I like the way Johnny Greaves called it that. Just seeing how they clear that thing, and they take off on that first lip, and they don't land until the backside of that tabletop, and they're probably 15 to 20 feet in the air, and that's pretty impressive, very impressive. So it looks we're getting back underway a little bit with Ben Holcher being checked out. So we wouldn't be moving if he was giving the thumbs up, as our safety crew is getting back into position. Once again, our top five. Joey Machosik up into that top spot, or into that fifth spot, starting ninth. Keep an eye on him because he's our current points leader. He is in that number 851 white Ford. Nick Bing fourth, Kyle Cooper, Nick Visser, and Mike Funk. And Funk took off right away at that first white flag course marker on the side of the track. The second half of the race is back underway, and it's going to heat up real quick. Funk gets a great jump, and we've got Cooper slowing. Our second place truck of Kyle Cooper suddenly comes to a stop, almost like there was an electrical issue. It came to a stop so fast. No smoke, no steam, no puff, no nothing. And Kyle Cooper is stopped to the side of the track.
Yeah, I don't see anything hanging out of the bottom of that truck. And you have that little bit of a jump in the back section. You don't know if maybe that could be a factor.
So they'll get Cooper off the track quickly before the rest of the field comes around. As it looks like Nick Bing having a little action going on inside of Nick Visser. Leads on that left rear fender of Visser. And Machosik is right there well. 3-truck battle for second.
Visser trying to take the long way around on the outside. Bing and him are side by side.
Visser now set for the inside that left-hand turn. Visser should come out with second. And does.
And the more these two trucks battle in second and third, Michael Funk is just opening up a lead. Track really starting to rut up really bad in the sand sections. Every one of these trucks still pushing through. Michael Funk gets through clean. Visser, Bing, and Joey Machosik, your top four.
Wow. At this point right now, it's going to be awful tough to catch Mike Funk. He's the only driver in the 122nd mark. Everybody else is in the high 121s. And Mike Funk with a 120 flat. So he's almost full 2 seconds a lap faster than everybody else.
Visser all year has shown the speed, though. He's won a race this year. He knows what it takes, but we're at a totally different facility. So it's lap after lap, the track's changing.
Yeah, you don't have a notebook to rely on from the prior race, from the year before, anything like that. This is a clean slate, fresh for everybody. Mike Funk still maintains about 8-9 truck length lead over Visser. Nick Bing in third. Machosik right there in fourth, but it doesn't seem like Machosik's able to reel him in at all right now. He is in that same spot last lap.
We'll see how they all rotate coming in this little 180 here. Funk up on the bike just a little bit.
Man, they're all hitting that apex at the entrance of the turn, not in the middle of the turn. All taking that same line, that tight left-hander right here in front of the race control. Our leader's pulling off the track. Our leader, Mike Funk, off the track. On top of the hill, now Nick Visser's in the lead. Tough break, again, no smoke, no steam, as Mike Funk idles off the track, as he had such a great race going, as the white flag comes out. And Machosik, how do you disappear for almost the entire race? White flag comes out, and there he is in third, battling for the top spot.
Yeah, don't count out Joey Machosik. Multi-time winner this year. And just watch him go to work. And again, this corner right in front of us is going to be a tricky turn. Whoever can get their truck turned. And Bing looks to the inside of Visser.
Wow, no contact. Bing made it so clean, but he scrubbed off a little bit going into that corner. Here we go. Tight right hand, Bing, right on the back bumper. I don't know. I think Visser's going to hang on for this. Boy, our top three really gapped out. I'm really surprised to see Machosik fall back that far in third. But there is a tight points battle for this class. And our top three trucks on the track right now as the checker flag is waving. Nick Visser, Nick Bing, and Joey Machosik will round out our top three in the super stock truck race. I kind of wonder if Machosik backed off a little bit playing the points chase at this point of the season.
Wonder,
you know,
wonder. He just didn't seem like he was all over everybody like he was in the past couple tracks.
You know, before the white flag came out, he was right there at the top. He was right there battling for the lead, but the white flag came out, it appeared that he fell back a little bit. Maybe there's something mechanical going on. Who knows? But he certainly helped himself in the points chase, finishing on the podium. We'll get our top three up to the podium one more time. We'll be right back with a quick word from our sponsors.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Trailblade tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Well, race fans, we kind of did this a couple weeks ago in Bark River, Michigan, up there in the UP at our last couple rounds of racing. And our next race, we had talked about a little earlier, Brent and I, that we're coming out here with the smallest class, the mini trucks, the short course carts, the kids races. And this guy right here, he kind of come up there, shoved us aside, gave us the elbow in the booth a couple weeks ago, and jumped in and became the main commentator for that class. And the facts and figures that you were coming out with is just absolutely phenomenal. He's a former champion in this class. He's a multi-time race winner. And Carter Vandenhoevel, welcome once again back to the booth. He was bugging me a couple days ago when he got here if he could do it again. And I'm like, heck yeah. I mean, the crowd loved it. And, I mean, it's you really are after my job, aren't you? You are.
Well, thanks for letting me come in. I need something to do.
Well, let's step aside real quick, and we'll come back to you in a moment as we get ready to meet our top three finishers in the Super Stock Truck Race. They're at the podium right now. In our Super Stock Truck event, this young man started ninth, kind of raced to the front very quietly, almost in a stealth mode. The 851, our current points leader, Joey Machosik.
Congratulations to you, Joey. You were just telling me that is a rough one out there. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Those jumps are a little big for us, but it was fun. It felt like I was racing my old dirt bike out there.
When we were noticing going into that last lap with going for that checkered, it was a three-way battle going into first, second, third, you and both Nicks out there. Why did you pull off a little bit? Was it something going on, or were you just mistaken that?
I thought I broke something in the rear end. I thought my track bar broke. I heard something clunking in the back. But I just looked and it wasn't broke, so maybe tomorrow I'll get you, Nick. I'd like to thank my sponsors, especially my dad. He put the whole truck together this week. I've been busy buying a house, and this one's for you, Pops. Also, Gary Bellman Grading, Ray and Mike from AMSoil, Charlie from ATD, and that's it.
Well, you've done a great job. I know you're coming for both Nicks over there. Hop up on number 3.
Finishing that second spot, my dream as a race fan would be to see this guy in a pro class someday. He is such a blast to watch as he works his way through the field. Started 8th, finishes 2nd. The 8:33 of Nick Bing.
Congratulations to you, Nick. I know this has got to be a great feeling for you. Going into the entire race, pretty much, it was a three-way battle going for second the entire time. What is your spotter telling you that's a little bit different for this track?
The big thing was be patient, because there's not a lot of room to move around and stuff, so it's going to be a one-line race, so just kind of take it easy, be patient, same way we were at the other track. There's not real wide, so just take your time and don't lose your cool and stick with it, you'll be there. I'd like to thank a lot of my sponsors that helped out, Lucas Oil, JR Enterprises, Point and Iron Works. There's a bunch of them now. Maxxis Tire, they're very, very good tire. Work really well. The guys are awesome to work with. Holcher Brothers Incorporated. Yeah, there's plenty more. ARO Coatings. Everybody, the list goes on and on. But thank you. And my crew guys at home, not a lot of guys made it out this weekend, but they helped out in the shop. And thanks, Brent, for coming up and getting this stuff done, and we'll give her again tomorrow.
Well, now that you know a little bit more about that track, it's going to be quite a race. Hop up on number 2.
And taking that top spot, started 6th, takes the first place position. And he had one hell of a race to the front as well. The 880 of Nick Visser.
Here you go. Congratulations to you, Nick. It has been quite a journey. You know, the last 2 years of being here, I've just been seeing you get faster and faster and faster, and you've pretty much got everything dialed in. How does that feel right now to take number 1 and keep on going towards those points?
It feels wonderful. Today I just came out and wanted to keep the truck together. And I seen the carnage from some of the buggies, and now I'm making that run for the points, and I just didn't want to screw something up, and I thankfully got to go to the first spot, and it was rough to hold it, and Chuck's got a lot of work tonight. I see a lot of bent and broken stuff, but she held together long enough. I'd like to thank my dad and Builder Service and all the help that he gets me here all the time. Parsons, High Roller Motorsports, Todd, he's my spotter. He does an awesome job. All my family at home that couldn't make it, all the guys that came here to support me. The rest of my sponsors at home, too. Thank you very much.
Well, you've done it again, taking that top spot here. And one more round of applause for your super stock truck top finishers. Back up to you, Scott and Brent.
Thanks a lot, Tiffany. And once again, congratulations to our top 3 finishers. Those guys right here put, like I said before the race started, oftentimes the best race of the weekend came out of the super stocks. Joey Machosik, Nick Bing, and Nick Visser. We'll step aside real quick for just a quick moment. We're going to bring out the little guys in just a bit.
Rugged Radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
And once again, as we get ready for our next race, which is the short course karts, How else can I describe it besides a go-kart with 20 inches of travel? And Carter, this is your expertise.
Yep.
You know these probably better than anybody else and probably have more laps on these trucks than anyone else. What are we looking at?
Well, we're looking at the future of this sport, basically. We are watching younger kids step into the driving seats to get more experience and work their way up the ranks. And
So what kind of engine are we talking about?
it's Briggs & Stratton, 15 horse or something like that. And
How much travel in those shocks, front and rear?
I don't remember that.
Oh, Carter, you're killing me. I just called you the resident expert in this. But, you know, what's it like to drive these things? I mean, you've been a class champion. You've won a couple of races. You're sitting out this year, but what's it like? And it's got to be pretty safe because you guys are belted in a lot like exactly like the pro drivers.
Stuff happens really quick. Like, you can be going one way, you're in the lead, and the next lap you can be in fifth. It all happens so quick.
Well, let's talk about introduce our drivers.
Starting on the front row, the number 7 of Michael Funk. Starting next to him, the 90 of Kennedy Marquardt. Second row, inside, the 44 of John Holter. Next to him, the 20 of Braden Bocha. In the third row, the 31 of Zach Rahanowitz. Next to him is his sister, Paige Rahanowitz, in the 5. Easton Sleeper, Owen Van Epperen, Sam Marquardt, Aiden Wanasaga, Hope Conrad, and Gavin Oldenfett. And we're 3 wide already. Looks like Kennedy Marquardt with the hole shot as they come back down.
Man, they are really moving coming down that hill in that tight left-hand sand turn.
Yeah, it's getting some pretty high speeds, especially on these downhills here.
Man, no contact. Nobody rolled over.
Sam over-rotating there a bit, recovers. It's Kennedy Marquardt still leads the pack as they come in front of the tower. And it looks like Holter making trying for a pass on Rahanowitz. As we've got, I believe, Braden Beauchamp in that second spot, worked his way up from the 4 spot. Watch for him to come up.
Before the race started, who would you predicted to run the top 3?
Probably a lot of people that have been getting consistently this year, like Van Epperen,
Yeah.
Marquardt, and Sleeper. Watch out for them today. And as Van Epperen looks to be in the 4 spot, right behind him is Sleeper in the 5 spot.
Just like other classes, the fast drivers, no matter where they start, just like in other classes, they seem to be working their way to the front. Meaning,
yeah, it's
Sleeper and Van Epperen. Van Epperen moves up to that 3rd spot now.
And it looks like Van Epperen gonna try a move on Beauchamp here. Doesn't have enough. Quite. It's really tight. Still, all our top 5 pretty much all within a car length of each other, and now 6th gets up there as well. We have a great battle as they come down the hill once more. Very fast speeds for these karts when we go down this hill here.
What do you think? I mean, you guys, this is very similar, this downhill section, to going down the hill at Crandon at the skyboxes. Do you think you're getting, what would you guess your speed is there?
Well, we don't actually get to go down the skyboxes.
Well, right.
Really. But the downhills get pretty fast as they come. Easton Sleeper has gotten around Owen Van Epperen and Michael Funk. Sleeper now up into the top 3. And it looks like Funk trying to get inside of Van Epperen. Van Epperen not having it though. Still Kennedy Marquardt out front, keeping the lead.
Look at Sleeper move on the outside. He's going for the lead.
It's a battle in between Kennedy Marquardt and Easton Sleeper. I believe Sleeper has the lead. Now Braden Beauchamp, look for him to try to get a move on Kennedy Marquardt here. And Sam Marquardt, our current points leader, is falling back in the pack. What will we see come out of this with Sleeper and Van Eperen right behind him? Oh, and Sleeper takes it way wide. Marquardt gets back underneath. Marquardt will retake the lead. Looks like Van Eperen's gotten, and Michael Funk pulls off to the side.
Oh man, just like his dad a moment ago in that super stock class. Another issue with Michael here.
Our track crew our track crew checking to make sure that Funk is okay.
So last night, Sleepers actually replaced their brakes because they found a warped brake rotor, so they were working on the brakes last night. I wonder if that was a problem that he got past just a moment ago.
But now he's retaken the lead.
Mm-hmm.
And Beauchamp looking to pass Marquardt here, as that's a real difficulty for these karts to make it through that sand section. With the lower horsepower, they're going to have some trouble with that sand. And now Beauchamp overtakes Marquardt. Now Van Eperen might try to do the same thing.
Kind of surprised Van Eperen's that far back in fourth because he was so fast in a couple laps ago when he had the lead just for that little bit.
He came from that 8th spot, so he's doing all right, but he was farther up. And now he gets up into the 3 spot past Marquardt. Easton Sleeper stretching out his lead as our competition yellow looks like it's coming out this time by. Sleeper with a huge lead. And Van Eperen now going to try to go for Beauchamp. Dives into that corner. That's a really rough bump at the entrance of that corner. They keep losing a bunch of time when they go to the outside of the corner. You've got to keep it on the inside of the corner here.
Competition yellow is coming out as Richie Kuloff is out on the track in that brand new Yamaha YXZ Pace vehicle. We'll get everybody collected single file line. Now when the yellow comes out like this, no matter where you were on the track, what was kind of going through your head? What were you worried about? What were you checking out on the track as a driver?
Well, if I'm at the beginning, if I'm at the front, I'm gonna keep running my smooth lines, making sure that the track hasn't changed, making sure that I just keep it smooth so I can take the win.
Now, when it's like, okay, you're second or third or fourth, we'll say under the competition yellow, did you ever kind of like want to play mind games on who's in front of you, kind of pull up alongside of them and kind of look at them, or maybe bump him in the back bumper a little bit?
I haven't tried to do that, but there have been some. There's a lot of chain reactions where everyone goes bump, 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 bump.
So what you're saying is you did it, but not on purpose.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it looks like some of our field's still trying to catch up. And so if I'm in second or third, I'm gonna look where my opponent's going and see what I can improve to try to make the move on them.
Now, when you take the restart, you look at those white flags on the other side of the course. Did you like to restart as the leader right away at that first flag, or kind of hold them until like the second one, or somewhere in the middle?
This is actually the first year that the karts, it's always, before this year, it's been that the flagman actually starts the race for us. We've never actually gotten to start the race ourselves. That's always been a little different for the karts until this year. This is the first year that they do the same thing as everybody else.
So our running order right now in our top 5, we've got John Holcher in that 5th spot, Kennedy Marquardt 4th, Owen Van Eperen, our current points leader. Actually, no, Sam Marquardt is our current points leader.
Current points leader of Marquardt. He's still
back
ways
in that
back in
6th
the
spot,
field.
yeah.
He's still got a little ground to make up. And Easton Sleeper will take the start before the flags even. I think he took that as soon as the pace vehicle pulled off.
Kind of looked that way, didn't it?
It did. But he'll pull a little on Beauchamp, and now Van Eperen gonna try for a move on Beauchamp. Beauchamp way wide, Van Eperen to the inside. As they come down the hill, really fast speeds, hitting a bunch of little bumps. And they're gonna come into that sand section. Watch out here. we could see some action happening here if someone gets in the really deep sand and gets slowed down. Someone else finds a better line. Van Epperen's made that move on Boshaw, but now Boshaw trying to fight back. And it looks like our current points leader still far back, and now Boshaw gonna try for a move on Van Eperen. Van Eperen still out in front of him.
It's a battle for second and third right now between that white cart and the black one. The white one is Owen Van Eperen. Black is Braden Boshaw.
And Easton Sleeper in the green cart, number 13, is continuing to pull out.
Yeah, I think he's on his way into town to McDonald's or something, man. He's just way out in front of everybody.
Yeah, he is basically checked out at this point. Unless something bad happens to Sleeper, it's pretty safe to say that he'll have a pretty good chance at this win. Van Eperen now opening up a gap on Boshaw. Oh, Boshaw! Boshaw over-rotates. Marquardt underneath Boshaw. Kennedy Marquardt takes over third position from Braden Boshaw. Oh, and John Holter pulls off. Right? That's the same spot where Funk pulled off. You might be... Would we wonder if that corner is causing some issues with either clutches or chains or something? Because that's the same corner that Funk pulled off, and Sleeper is just pulling out a lead. Van Eperen is pulled out from the rest of the pack, and then we've got like a 5-car battle for the final spot on the podium. And Boshaw underneath Marquardt. Marquardt losing getting a little bit of body damage. It's fiberglass. It's meant to come off. But as now Werhanowitz tries to go under Boshaw. Werhanowitz up on 2 wheels. Looks like Boshaw trying to get back under Werhanowitz, and does so. Sleeper and Van Eperen basically just way gone from the pack at this point. And now Boshaw looks to be making a move on the outside of Marquardt, but he has to be careful because or else Werhanowitz could dive under him if he gets too far out.
That's what I've noticed in this race. The key is, like you said earlier, to keep it tight in the turns. Even drift out a little bit, someone's going to be right there to take you on the inside.
Yes, especially if you're in that 3 through 7 position where there's a huge jumble of cars, and the white flag is out. Final lap, white flag. Sleeper takes the white flag with Van Eperen in second, and still a huge battle for third. Good battle for third through 8th. And Sleeper has got a huge lead. Van Eperen looks to be closing a little, but not by much. Meanwhile, both of them pulling out from the pack. Looks like Zach Werhanowitz now might try to challenge as well. Zach Werhanowitz getting past Braden Boshaw, and here comes our current points leader, Sam Marquardt. Oh, and Boshaw
boy,
over!
There we go. Boshaw up and over.
Boshaw goes over, gets hit in the rear quarter panel by Marquardt, and might we see something happen from that hit? Was that intentional or not? Because it did look like there was a tap on the rear quarter panel. And now brother and sister battling for that final spot on the podium. Sam and Kennedy battling for that 3 spot with Zach Werhanowitz right behind. Might we see a penalty to Sam Marquardt though?
I'm kind of not thinking so, because everybody's diving into the corner real hard, and when that happens, all the weight's on your front of your truck, and all it takes is just a little tiny tap to go up and over. So with all those trucks, what was there, 3 or 4 of them going in that corner at one time?
5, it looked like. And the safety crew checkered flag comes out for Easton Sleeper. Easton Sleeper takes the win. Looks like the 45 of Owen Van Eperen will take that second spot. Oh, Werhanowitz almost over. And it looks like The 90 of Kennedy Marquardt just beats her brother at the line. Sam Marquardt just barely beating the 31 of Zach Werhanowitz there. Paige Werhanowitz behind that. We'll be right back. We'll be right back to TORC, the Off-Road Championship.
For 41 years, winning drivers in all forms of motorsports have relied on VP Racing Fuels for leading-edge technology to optimize performance and power them to the winner's circle. Now you can get the same benefit with VP Mattitives, formulated for gas and diesel engines. It's race fuel technology for your daily driver and the perfect way to clean out your fuel system and put the power back in your drive. VP Mattitives are available at your local AutoZone store. For more information, visit vpracingfuels.com.
That was a very competitive race there. That was with Braden Beauchamp going over, and there was a good group of 5 all together the entire time.
How much do you miss not being out on the track?
Oh, especially this weekend. I really miss it. I mean, like, this looks like a really fun track to drive a kart on. I really wish I was out there.
With your grandpa standing right there, is he listening? Yeah, now he is. I'm trying to help you out, brother. I'm trying to help you out, man. He really misses it, Grandpa.
We're done with this class, but we're trying to get either a second kart class or that, or I'll go into buggies once I'm old enough.
Well, you're looking at right now, ladies and gentlemen, back if you're here looking at that Jumbotron, that is actually Wayne Davis. He's the lucky winner of the contest. He's in the passenger seat with a ride-along with Ricky Johnson. So one of the contest questions was, what is your best Ricky Johnson memory of here at Redbud? He's a 2-time winner. I think he's only one of only 5 riders in the history of Redbud to win 2 outdoor nationals here. And anyways, Wayne Davis is the winner of his best Ricky Johnson memory. And in a moment, once we get done with the interviews with our kart kids. Oh, we're doing it now. Oh, okay. What's your Ricky Johnson memory?
Probably when he and Johnny were in those really intense battles. That was fun to watch.
Boy, you were really, really young back then, and for you to remember that?
I was probably like 6.
Yeah. That was
yeah.
6 years ago.
I've actually been to the old track at this place. It's really nice to come back here after like 3 or 4 years of not coming here. They had a different track at this facility, but in a whole another part.
Well, here he comes, Wayne Davis on a ride with Ricky Johnson, and Ricky Johnson does not look like he is holding back at all. How about that? Now, this is a specially prepared, retired Pro 2 chassis, rigged up with 2 seats. The motor in it probably is only about 650 horse, I believe. But we've been doing this. We've designed this truck for VIP rides, media rides, and situations like right now. So this is just, I guess, a really good tidbit of what we're going to be seeing later on this afternoon when the 700, 750 horsepower Pro 2s hit the track, and then the 900 horsepower Pro 4s. So Wayne Davis, I'm sure there's about 15 different GoPros inside that truck at different angles, catching all the action. Yep, I think Ricky Johnson's getting on her pretty good, not holding back too much. What would you give to be riding in that with Ricky?
I don't know.
So what you're saying is you're kind of sketchy about it?
I'd like to do it, but yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, I'm putting you on the spot, and pretend your grandpa's not watching. Okay, grandpa's not watching you right now. Who'd you rather drive, Ricky Johnson or grandpa? Keep in mind who's probably paying the bill for your new cart.
My grandpa.
Good call.
No offense, Ricky. But yeah, that's really cool. This thing that we do is really cool. Like, it's just anyone can try.
Now you told me something kind of neat, that you're gonna actually be coming back here in a week or so.
I might be, yes.
Yeah. What's that about?
They have a whole bunch of stuff. Like they not only are we racing off-road trucks here, this is one of the top outdoor motocross tracks in the nation. And my dad might be doing an event on a dirt bike here next week, so I might be coming here 2 weekends in a row, and that would be pretty cool.
So without a doubt, I have to say Wayne Davis is either staining the fire suit right about now or has a big old goofy grin inside that helmet. Could be one of either things. He's
Maybe
giving him the thumbs up? Is he? Okay.
Maybe both of those. Could be both.
Hey, I can tell you right now that even Snoop Dogg has ridden as a passenger in one of these specially prepared Pro 2s with a two-seat. And he had probably the funniest comment I've ever heard. He goes, "That was the coolest thing I've ever done in my entire life that I never want to do again." So once again, that's Wayne Davis out there in that specially prepared Pro 2 as the winner of What's Your Best Memory of Ricky Johnson here at Redbud. And I'd like to hear what he had to say, what his memory is. That'd be kind of neat. But he's our contest winner. Wayne Davis, I believe, was given 5 laps or so around here. And
Looked about 4.
4.
But something like
Dude,
that, yeah.
do you ever agree with anything I say?
Ah.
You just I have to like little. Does he argue with you too, Dan? Does he argue with you? No. Just me. When I'm paying the bills, when I'm paying the bills, he doesn't argue with me. Okay, yeah, I kind of get that, yeah. So if your dad does come back in a week or so for the Vet Nationals, are you gonna make sure you're coming back?
Yes, I will.
Yeah. Good.
Yes.
Good.
That'll be a lot of fun.
But will you stick around and help us out later for the rest of the races this afternoon?
Don't
look at Grandpa. No. Don't look.
If you want me.
Will you come back tomorrow?
Sure, I'll
All
do
right.
that.
Carter Vandernoodle, thank you so much for coming up here, man. Stick around for a while, and maybe we'll put you back to work. You want to do the awards presentation?
Sure.
All right.
Finishing third in the short course karts, the number 90 of Kennedy Marquardt.
Congratulations to you, Kennedy. That smile says everything. You took that whole shot. You know, you did a little battling back and forth, but you finally got back on third. How are you feeling right now?
Really good. I would like to thank my sponsors, Corey's Crank and Nail, Jane's Classic Touch, Heck Electric, Amsoil, All-Star Performance, Todd's Custom Paint, and that's all.
Well, you've done a great job. You've got a big cheering section for you. I know they're real excited. Hop up on number 3.
Finishing second, had to battle for a while, but after he got through that he pulled away a ton, finishing second to number 45 of Owen Van Eperen.
Congratulations, Owen. I love seeing you up here each time. You're getting better and better, faster and faster. How is that track for you out there in the short course karts?
It was really rough, but it's an awesome track. I couldn't do this without Yamaha, Yamaha, Power Sports 1, Holzer Brothers, Neverlift, everybody else. Thanks.
Well, you're doing a great job. I know you'll be rooting for your dad very soon. Congratulations on second place.
In our first spot, simply a dominating performance today. Got the lead and pulled out. Had the caution and then pulled out again. Finishing first, the number 13 of Easton Sleeper.
Congratulations to you, Easton. This has been quite a battle over here. Battle for second was crazy, crazy. Then you go right into first. You took it away. What was your spotter saying to you as you just pretty much took away with the rest of the field?
Congratulations to our top three finishers. Great race today. We'll be back to TORC the Off-Road Championship for the Super Buggies.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Rugged Radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Well, race fans, I got a special guest down here with me right now. Actually, the bottom floor of race control. He should be in the next race. He should be racing in the Super Buggy division coming up next. He's been running it all season long, as well as in the, was it Pro Stock UTV, I think it was, or was it Pro Mod? Pro Stock? Pro Stock UTV. He's no longer in that one as well. He's, I believe, sold them both. He sold the buggy and is trying to sell the side-by-side. But you got a big announcement concerning your racing career and what you got going for 2018.
Yeah, everyone's been speculating what's going on because everyone's like, dude,
all right, here it
at?
is. We're talking about right now. It's officially right now.
Yeah, everyone's been like asking me, they're like, dude, where are you at? Where are you coming? And I've been psyching them out. I'm like, oh, no, I'm on my way. I'm on the plane 5 a.m. I'm coming out. Like, I'll be there. But then everyone's like, dude, you're not practicing. Like, where are you at? Where's your car? And I'm like, well, everyone's now knows from yesterday, if they were on my Instagram and everything, that I did go pick up our Pro 2, and we will be racing that next year. And right now we're just waiting to get some seat time next weekend at Crandon. Hopefully, maybe race the Red Bull race. I'm hoping. That'd be pretty sweet. We got to see how it goes and see how the truck's working right now since it's new. And I'm not used to racing in a truck, but we did sell the buggy, and we're trying to sell the Production 1000 right now. And I also have my SR1 for sale, too, back home.
So that's the news. You're committing to the 2018 TORC season in a Pro 2.
Yeah, we are. It's just the rules, like the way that they play out, it's more cost effective this year with the DOT tire and the motor and everything, and Steve thinks he can make it work to where I can run up front, and it's where we want to be. Like I've just been training in all these other classes and everything that we've been doing to get to this point, because this is where we want to be, but it's always just been like too far out there. But it's always been a dream. Like every mod kid that you ask if they want to race, like what would they race? They would say Pro 2. Like there's 1% that would say Pro 4, but they all want to race in a Pro 2. Everyone wants to be at the top class like that. So to be able to go into it now, like it's crazy. It's a dream come true, and I'm stoked. I'm pumped.
Well, the other thing is that you didn't tell anybody that you're from Phoenix. So the fans, you're from Phoenix. You're not from the Midwest anyplace. So your shop is going to be based in Wisconsin, but the commitment you guys made is not just moving up into that pro class. It's the fact that you're committing to a ton of travel, a ton of prep work on a pro truck, and the fact is you're still in high school.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. Like we've been talking about it and laying it out, and it's like, dang, dude, like we're actually doing this. Or like this year we pieced it all together with Steve Downing, and like he's great. He's my crew chief now, and he's been wrenching on the car, and he's like a wizard. Like he knows what he's doing with that buggy, and we got it to go fast. Like we weren't even super like focused on it at first because we were coming in slated to be up front in the Pro Stock UTV, so we were like high focus on that, and then we got to race the buggy too. Like it was a bonus because we were coming all the way out here from Phoenix. Like that's where we do business and stuff, is out of Phoenix, Arizona, but I live in Payson, Arizona, and go to school there and stuff, and we've just been going back and forth with everything. And then halfway through the season we were in the points for the buggy, and we're running them down, and we're getting everything figured out. So we were like, okay, like we might actually be able to win the championship in this. Like we're battling with Meister. We're like, this is cool. So
it's kind of like you guys were almost scratching your head, you and your dad. It was like, are we really doing this good? And you started working your way up to the points. You were on the podium just about every single race, I believe.
Yeah, I never finished anything under second, and then we just were like, okay, like this is cool. This is happening. We're like, I didn't think this was gonna happen with the buggy, but like right on, because it's just so technical and there's so much going on, and I've never driven an H pattern with a turning brake, and I'm just used to sequential shifting with the mod and the UTV and the SR1. The SR1 and the mod both have a hand clutch, and then the UTV was the first thing with a foot clutch, so I got used to it with that. And then now the buggy has like a real race clutch, so I was like, first time I got in one, I like pushed it and I was like, it's in. And then Cameron Anderson was helping me test or whatever, and I was like, he's like starting it and it was stalling, and then he's like pushed on my leg and he's like, dude, you don't even have it in all the way. And I was like pushing it and I was like, oh, okay.
So who's more excited, you or your dad? Can you gauge that?
I don't know, because I'm pretty pumped, but I'm more mellow than him. Like
you're excited. I think he's geeked out. Let's put it that way. How about that?
I'm excited. I'm pumped because I'm gonna drive, and it's a dream come true. My dad's like, yeah, he's geeking out over there. He's like all shaking. He's like, oh my gosh, dude, we're doing it. Like, because he's always wanted to race that, because he raced Pro Light back in the day. So he obviously was looking at the Pro 2s. He's like, man, that's what I should be in right now. But he never got a chance to do that. So I'm
I'm expecting him to take it and go do some testing behind my back and like drive it and then like send me
while
a
you're in
picture like a
school,
selfie.
while you're in class.
Yeah, no, like this last week, like it's like they've been talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, that'd be sweet. Like cause we're just talking about it, and then I'm like getting phone calls in class from Steve and from my dad and like texts and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, what's up? And then they're like, oh, we're getting the truck. Like I just looked at it, it's cherry, we're doing it, like everything's primo, we're looking at it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no way.
While
They're
you're in
like,
class.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I'm like on my phone because they changed the rules. They're like, no phones. You're going to the office. And I'm like, so I'm sitting there. I'm like, what's up? And then they're telling me, they're like, yeah, like, dude, we're doing it. And then they're like, but focus on school. And I'm like, okay. And I like hang up and I'm like putting it in my pocket and I'm just sitting there. I'm like tapping my pencil.
It's real easy to concentrate on class then after that.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there. I'm like tapping my pencil. I'm like, man, is it the weekend yet? Like, I got to go check this thing out.
Well, you also have probably one of the coolest off-road trucks in history, I'd say, sitting in that shop. And as much as you love that Pro 2, and it's going to be your baby, and, but your dad's got an equally very cool truck sitting there as well.
Yeah, we do have that Ford Mickey Thompson Stadium truck. I won a championship in that at the regional series in Arizona for the Lucas Regionals, and that's the only truck-based driving that I have under my belt. Everything else is like the mod cart and then the open wheels with the buggy. But I have gone through like a bunch of different ranks. So I went through Junior 1, and then I did the mod cart, and then I did the Mickey Thompson truck for a little bit, hoping that we would go towards Pro Light like everybody else. And then it kind of went into the UTV because of the way that it was exploding with the factory look and everything and how big it's blowing up with all these guys going into the class. So we started focusing on that, and then came back here and did the Red Bull race. And that's when we met Steve, and we pieced everything together with a buggy and made this whole thing happen for this year to get back here. And then the traveling and everything that I've been doing this year is just crazy, and I'm having so much fun.
You know what's really been neat, too, is that you and your dad made this trip out here from Phoenix this weekend, not only to check out Redbud and to make this announcement official and on the live stream and as part of the notice with the fans here at Redbud, but also that you wanted to come back here. I mean, you guys, you wanted to do it here at Redbud. You wanted to do it here at this track. You guys wanted to check it out. But a couple times you referenced the Red Bull race, and we're talking about the Red Bull Signature Series event on Sunday of Labor Day weekend at Crandon, Wisconsin. And if you're going to make a debut, you might as well jump in the deep end of the pool head first and do it right there, man.
I know, that's what we did last year with the buggy. We rented one to check it out, and they were like, oh, well, if we're going to race, like, let's run it when we go to Red Bull. And I was like, dude, the biggest race of the year, you're going to put me out there? Like, I've never driven H-pattern. And I was like, okay. I was like, fine, let's do it.
Well, look at it this way. It's not like you haven't done that before. It's not like your dad hasn't shoved you off the end of the pier before. So, except this time it's going to be in a truck and a little bit faster at an unbelievable turn 1 that you have this much experience at.
Yeah, I only have a little bit. I do have a win under my belt in Crandon. I'm pretty pumped about that. There's not a lot of people that can say that just overall. So, and that's like my second home track now. So I've been running that, and I'm hoping to do testing with the Roush team next week and at Crandon in the Pro 2 and see how it goes since we're doing that. And yeah, he acts like I'm his little wind-up toy sometimes. He just throws me out there to do it, and like he's crazy. Like as soon as we get here, $40 helicopter ride. He's like, oh, you're doing it. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay. As soon as we pulled in the parking lot, didn't see anyone, didn't talk to anyone. He threw me on the helicopter, cruised around, never been on one. It was crazy. The guy's like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to race Pro 2 soon. Like, I should be racing buggy, but I'm not. And he's like, oh, check this out. And he just dives the helicopter. I was like, oh, dude, calm down.
Well, will you stick around and help us out with this race? This is where you should, like you said, you should be on the track. Would you stick around and help us out and announce for this?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's our next race on the track. It's the Super Buggy Division. I often call it the Formula One of off-road. Unlimited suspension, unlimited 4-cylinder horsepower. As we get ready to go, here's our lineup of 11 cars. Should be 12, but now it's 11. Here's our lineup on the front row. We've got Steve Creeman out of Chicago, Illinois in the 18. Michael Hester in the number 9 from Southern Florida. In row 2, it's a father and son team, Ryan Schwabe and Scott Schwabe. Row 3 inside, Mark Steinhardt and Michael Meister in the 94. Row 4 on the inside, Herman Barman in the 22, Joe Eppers in the 99. And inside of row 5, Brian Bosia in the 32, Chris Hainland in the 72, and Chris Coughlin in the 13. Green flag is out, we're underway. Nice job.
Oh, a little slick. It's going to get hairy right here on the first couple turns.
Now, you talked about this car with, talk about the engines real quick, the turning brake, that aspect of it, and what these cars are all about.
These cars are crazy because they have the H pattern shifting. Some of these guys are running in a Mineola still, so they're shifting and they're clutching every time. And then most of them, like few of them, I know the front runner guys will have the Fortin in it, so it's a lot easier to shift. But the H pattern's crazy. They're constantly turning brake, coming into these tight turns. It's a really technical track. I wish I was running it. Making quick, no. Michael Meister's moving up quick. You got to watch for him. He'll be up in the front. He's fast. And Steiny's got a lot of experience, so he'll be working his way through there too, trying to win. And I'm bummed I'm not racing this track because it's really technical, and I have a more technical-based background. But it's cool to watch.
Turning brake quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, I slam it, I'm feathering it. Usually not on these first couple laps because it's so greasy. You just bang the gears and it'll set it up itself.
Man.
I'm digging these step-ups and step-downs and all this off-camber, though. I wish I was running it.
Michael Meister making an early run of it towards the front as he's going inside of Hester. So Meister, let's see, he slides wide to the inside, and he'll come out with the lead. Michael Meister, our new leader, and I believe our current points leader. Hester running in second. This may be only lap number 2, but easily Hester's best race of the year.
Yeah, for sure. He's looking really good right now. This dirt's really soft and it's really slick, but they're making quick work of it, trying to wear it in and get underway. Watch for Meister. He'll probably pull out a little bit here if he can keep everything cool. Looks like he's running really strong this year. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, Meister is absolutely checking out. And that's really not a big surprise in this class. And the thing is, what's really interesting to Michael Meister is the fact that he has learned how to set up his car from RC trucks. I mean, he was a professional RC racer, and he learned how to set up his car from racing RCs.
Yeah, I met Steve through Michael. We bought our car from them, from their team, and that's what they were telling us was their background was RC cars, and I was like, what? I was like, no way, dude. And they were like telling me, they're like, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, spun out in the turn. Everyone's gonna go wide.
Can't quite tell. Is it 37? 32. Brian Bosia. That's how you say that, right? Bosia?
I think so. Everyone's got crazy last names. All I know is if you got a crazy last name, you're probably a race car driver.
So as they round the corner one more time here in front of race control, Meister's still got a very strong lead as he's pulled away even more so on lap number 3. As Steiny now has moved up in that second spot. Schwabe into third. 3 guys from northern Wisconsin were all running up front. As looks like Herman Barnum now having problems slowed around the track and maybe pulling off and calling it a day.
Meister with about a 15-car gap, definitely making good, quick work of the field, trying to get to that first half of the race over with.
That kid is ready to move up into a pro class, if not a pro light, definitely a pro 2 as well. And the thing is, you look at him, you would never guess, oh yeah, race car driver.
Yeah.
That's not the first thing I think of when I see him.
How it is with a lot of these guys. Everyone's got a little bit of a different style.
Steve Creeman trying to get around the inside of Scott Schwabe. A little bit further back in the pack. Schwabe from Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and Steve Creeman from Arlington Heights, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. And there's the competition yellow as our leaders cross the Amsoil finish line. As Richie Kulop pulls out onto the track in that brand new 2017 Escondido Toyota Pace truck with Vision wheels and Cooper tires. Michael Meister as our leaders, Mark Steinhardt, Ryan Schwabe. So do you think they'll ever, probably not now with the Pro 2, but do you think there ever was a chance that maybe you and your dad be on the track at the same time together? Was there ever talk of that?
There was talk about that a while ago with just for training, like testing, so that he could show me the lines. But then after a while, he was thinking, you know, you might have surpassed me already. So I told him, I was like, well, as soon as I step foot into a Pro 2 and race, I'll assume that I surpassed you and that I'm better. And then he's like, yeah, I don't know. But he never lets me get a little bit of an edge sometimes. He's like, I don't know. I still think I could beat you. And I'm like, okay.
So the Ponzi Forest Equipment number 94 entry of Michael Meister with the point. Mark Steinhardt in that second spot. Ryan Schwabe. As we get ready for the second half, Steve Creeman in the top 5. Chris Hainland 6, Joe Eppers, and Michael Hester.
Well, right about now, I definitely know who I would want to be and who I wouldn't want to be all at the same time as Michael Meister in first. It's definitely nerve-wracking sitting up there, winning the first half of the race. Now you got to focus on the second half and just make sure you get all your lines dialed and think about all the lines that you just ran and hit them all again, and just make sure you get a good start, especially on this uphill start right here.
No, you see the flags that are about knee-high, and the separation of about 50 feet. Did you, on the restarts, did you like to nail it right away, right at that first flag, kind of hold them up, play a little mind game, maybe wait till that second flag before you accelerated?
Depends on the track and how far the first turn is away from the flags. And then, like, that's when I would determine, like, how much speed I would want everybody to be coming in on behind me. And that would determine where I would start. Like, right now, Michael might start towards the middle. Yeah. That's usually where people start, is towards the mid, so you don't have enough speed going into here. But I never checked up on a bunch of people usually, because that always gets annoying, and usually you don't want to do a restart because then you got to do it all over again and you're already nervous enough. Coming down this first straight though, Michael Meister was pulling away a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take long as he slams through some gears in that sandy left-hand turn, coming up towards race control in that right-hand corner. He is the first. Michael Meister is actually the first driver of any class we've been racing out here this afternoon that has actually apexed this corner properly, I think, because it's like we were watching all the truck classes, the earlier buggy classes. They come to the corner real tight and exit almost all the way outside up against the wall. And Meister is the first one to come in on the outside, apex it real tight to the inside, and exit coming out towards the wall. So
I did notice that everyone's pushing out, and I was looking at it the same way that Michael's entering and exiting. I would have apexed it like that too, and he's got a good lead coming out on these guys. I wish I was out there, because then we could have been battling this one. It looks really fun. What's cool about sitting trackside right here is I can actually see, like, they are using their turning brake quite a bit in this turn. Like, I can see their arm off to the side, like, so I know what they're doing.
And the elevation change, that's the other real cool thing. We've been to some facilities where it's just like a flat field or an oval racetrack like Chicago Speedway. We build an off-road track. Here we got all the elevation changes, really adds to it.
Yeah, I had to make quick note of that in ERX with all the elevation changes and trying to keep my RPMs up. So
that's definitely new for me coming out from west where everything's a little bit more flat, obviously. And all these step ups and stuff, it's crazy. You gotta definitely have your RPMs up and your speed going into those.
Looks like Ryan Schwabe may be having mechanical issues. He's falling back through the pack as Scott Schwabe, his dad, has just gotten around. So it looks like, no, I stand corrected. That was Ryan that got around Scott. So Ryan's back up into third. Scott falls back to fourth. Scott Schwabe's gotten back around Ryan, so Scott's now running that third spot. Final podium, Ryan fourth, Chris Hanlon fifth, Steve Freeman sixth, Joe Eppers, Michael Hesser, Herman Barnum. But right now it's all about Michael Meister and Mark Steinhardt. He's the only one that even has a remote shot as a white flag comes out. He's almost a full straightaway back in second as Steiny crossed underneath the Amsoil finish line. But like I said, the white flag is out. Scott Schwabe then crosses the Amsoil arch.
Right about now, Michael's probably thinking he needs to stay cool because he's got a straightaway so he can win this thing. Definitely put him in the front of the points.
I mean, you know Michael pretty decent. That car is so strong. I mean, you know Michael pretty well. You think there's a good chance that we're going to see him move up soon?
I don't know. He's definitely killing it in this class right now this year, and I'm sure he's having fun, like winning everything. Everyone's pushing him to go into like a pro light or something, so I don't know if he is or not. I haven't had word from him yet about it.
One more turn remaining, and Michael Meister's aimed at the Amsoil finish line as he will add another win to his resume in the Super Buggy division. Second will go to the 31 out of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, Mark Steinhardt. And it looks like third is going to go to the 29, also from Rhinelander, Scott Schwabe. Well, one more time, we'll step aside, get our top three up to the podium for their winning interviews, and we'll be right back with more off-road racing.
When it comes to guarding your engine, Amsoil offers the next level performance enthusiasts demand. Amsoil provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the
once or twice
beyond protection it deserves. Amsoil, devoted to protection.
Trailblade Tires, the weapon of choice for wherever you want to go.
Rugged radios. Work, race, play.
Hey, Steve, where you at?
Experience clear communications through headsets or helmet kits.
I'm up on the hill to your right. Oh, there you are.
Talk vehicle to vehicle.
Keep the radio contact going. Copy?
Talk to passengers.
Copy that, I gotcha.
And stream your favorite music. Complete communications for UTVs, base camp, toy haulers, or off-road vehicles. Rugged radios, the authority in communications.
Well, I got to ask you, you're up here with help me out with the super buggies, but how much does it pain you now to look at it and you not on the track?
I'm bummed. This is really technical, and I was looking forward to being out here, and I definitely thought I was going to be racing this race, and it looked great. Like, it looked like they had a lot of fun out there, and like they were really working the cars. So I'm bummed I didn't get to run in it, but it was cool to watch it from a different angle, like down here on the track with you. So that was fun.
So I got to ask you one more time. It's like, what are the chances that you guys can get that Pro 2 out on the track for Crandon, which is in a couple of weeks, Labor Day weekend, part of that Red Bull Signature Series?
I don't know. We were doing testing. We got an invite with the Roush team since I'm on that now, and we're gonna go do that next weekend. So we'll be flying back out to do some of that, and we'll see how it goes. And we'll see.
Well, best of luck, man. I really hope that things work out, and you've been fun to watch because I've known you since you were about belt buckle high back in the Junior 1, and I remember interviewing you more than a few times in that Junior 1 kart and even in the modifieds up on the podium. So you've won in every single class you've been in, every single one, and let's hope that you throw a couple of Pro 2s in there as well.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. Yeah, you definitely did give my first podium speech, and I'm pretty sure I didn't talk at all. So it's pretty cool that we get to hang out and do this now all the way back here.
You've come a long way since that very first interview, yeah. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you do it again? Yeah. By the way, when you were up in the helicopter ride a little bit ago, did your dad go with you, or was it just you?
No, I looked at it and there wasn't a lot of room in there, and I was like, dude, you can't go with me. Like, you're gonna like put me in the middle, and I'm not gonna be able to experience it. So he was like, no, I don't want to. He's like,
really? So he threw you in?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like, just go for it. Hang out the window, take some pictures and stuff. I was like, all right.
Well, as we're getting ready for our top three down at the podium, and I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can introduce the guys that you used to race against.
Sweet. All right.
Let's hang on just for a moment before we get going. I want to remind everybody also, don't forget that we've got a full line of official 2017 TORC apparel available at the Racing Dirty trailer. Stop up and see Tim and Timmery. They've got all kinds of cool stuff from ladies, the men's, the boys, the little girls, and even the toddler size apparel up there, as well as the $5 Chris Cobb Memorial Benefit decal, where 100% of the proceeds go to the 2018 Chris Cobb Memorial Benefit and Auction in Fort Worth, Texas. Stop up and ask about that and see that, as we've been doing that all season long. I think this is the third year we've been doing that, but very good cause. And you know what? Sounds like our top three guys are reporting ready. I'm going to go over here one more time to Daly.
Sweet. TORC, the Off-Road Championship. We have Super Buggy, and we're going down to the podium with third place of Scott Swalby.
Congratulations to you, Scott. We were just chatting right there when you were getting out of your buggy. One word I was talking to you about, and you were saying that this track is a little bit rough. What is the roughest spot out there right now?
Oh, it's rough in a few places. When you get back in the sand, that's where it gets the roughest, I think. But it was also really wet, and that makes it a workout to try to keep the car going straight.
With everybody being here, I know you got a lot of people that you want to thank. We saw you podium in Crandon. How different is that track from Crandon to here?
Oh, there's a huge difference. And this track is obviously smaller, but it's also a lot more technical. It's, like I mentioned, rougher.
just a lot tighter. It's a fun track.
Oh, who would you like to thank today for your sponsors?
I'd like to thank AMSOIL, and I'd like to thank my guys in the pits, Hojo and Zach and Cody, and my son Ryan. He was out there on the track today too. So we had a good time.
Well, it's always good to see you up here. I know you're going to take some notes, regroup, come back tomorrow. Hop up on number 3.
And the guy that I've been liking to run with this year, Mark Steiny Steinhardt, running hard this race and holding down that second place spot.
Congratulations to you. This is not the normal Steiny that I see. This is a little bit more of a face that you look upset. Is something wrong? What happened?
Yeah, I don't want to say, but the track conditions weren't the best. This is one of the best classes out there, and they got a little overzealous with the water truck, which I understand happens. I mean, that's part of all of it. But it could have been a lot more fun racing out there on this track, but it was a good time. Happy to finish second. Thought I had something for Michael on the restart and missed the shift, so he got away from me, and then I just couldn't close that gap back up. So I got to thank all my sponsors, Laundry Lobby, A La Mode, I'm forgetting them all for some reason, Fastenal out of Rhinelander, Wash Smart. Got to thank Rod End Supply for supporting the Super Buggy class for this year. Without support like that, it's hard to get anything done, but Rod End Supply, big hat off to them. Mike Rusci for putting together contingency for us.
Well, I always love seeing you up here. I'm sorry. I know you're a little disappointed. I know you're going to regroup, do all that. Hop up on number 2.
And the winner for the Super Buggy division, running from the very mid-pack to the front, is Michael Meister with a strong win and a good lead.
Congratulations to you, Michael. Another one. You've done phenomenal this season. Now with Daly out of that, we were talking about how you are the current points leader, that we're looking in that, but you guys weren't that far apart. You were only about 2 points apart, so you're doing really, really well. What can you attribute your fast, your quickness, your dialed in, your suspension? What is it all coming together for you finally?
Yep, this is 4 wins in a row right now, and we're just keep plugging along, keep doing our homework, always watching videos from each race, like constantly, and just keeping a good head on my shoulders. I know I'm quick. It comes down to my crew, my dad, everybody that surrounds me and helps me. And this track was really fun. It was very wet, but I adapted to it quick, and I just was patient getting around everyone, and it was a blast. And I want to thank all my sponsors, Ponce North America, Michael Meister Logging, Never Lift Apparel, Southside Tire of Anago, 920 Designs, VP Racing Fuel, and Hobbytown. And I want to thank my crew and my dad most of all. Couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you.
Well, you've done it again. Hop up on number 1. One more round of applause for your Super Buggy top finishers. And back up to you, Scott and Brent.
Well, thanks a lot, Tiffany. Congratulations to those guys right there. And I'm going to bug you, Michael, man. I'm telling you, Pro Light, Pro 2 soon. Come on, man. One guy in that class moved up. I'm thinking you've got to be next. Well, anyways, congratulations, guys, and have a great afternoon, as we're going to see you up here one more time tomorrow afternoon. And, again, race fans, I want to thank you so much for coming up here daily, and thank you for using us and this stage as your official announcement that you're moving into Pro 2 and have committed to the 2018 Pro 2 class in the TORC Series, as well as possibly getting that thing out there in the Red Bull Signature Series weekend in Crandon in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for coming up here. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in, no matter where you're at, back at home, at YouTube, or on the TORCseries.com. We're going to sign off real quick. We'll be back at 3:30 for nothing but pro races from this point on. We'll see you then.
Pro 2 has been a dream of mine for a very long time. I'm excited to join the class full-time in 2017.
Hopefully we can get the Pro 4 out and mix it up with the Greaves and whoever else wants to come do some battle.
We're going to be getting more tracked in the water truck, going for championships.
At the end of the day, you want to be the guy that when everybody shows up to the racetrack, I want everybody to say, this weekend I know I have to beat Kyle Hart. And to be able to get that name, you have to go and prove yourself and win races and be the fastest guy. And I'm not going to quit until I'm there.
The overall future for off-road, it looks really good. We finally have a stepping stone of young guys coming up. It's going to be one hell of a season.